And we are live, ladies and gents. Welcome back to the Marty and Clyde show. And tonight, Marty is looking fabulous. Thank you so much for joining and filling in for Marty, Jasmin. It's great to have you. It's been a minute.
Hey, Clyde, thanks for having me in. Anyway, I'm gonna have the same beer I always drink and stuff.
So you bet it's been a minute. Holy cow. I've been so busy and you've been so busy. I see you've been up to lots of different things. So Marty was going to be away, or we weren't sure actually if Marty was going to be away this week because he's got this hunting camp and he had to go dude stuff. He had to go out into the woods and do the dude stuff, and he wasn't sure if he'd be back. So I was like, well, I'll call Jasmin and I'm sure she'll be down. And if Marty does come back, then it'll be fun with the three of us. But Marty didn't come back. So it's just the two of us tonight. And we're going to get into a bunch of stuff. Now, for everybody who's just joining the show, perhaps for the first time, or you haven't been around in a while, this is the way we do things. So for about the first hour, I know it's a live show and you got your chats going on there. And we are paying attention to everything that's happening in the chat. But we won't be addressing that until after the first hour. So we're going to be talking about a bunch of stuff. A lot of stuff's going to come up. And then after the first hour, then we'll address your chats. And Jasmin will be kind enough to stick around for a little bit for that. But I don't want to take your whole evening. So thank you so much for filling in for Marty. And this is great. We're going to have some fun here.
I mean, honestly, it's really not that big of a burden anymore because we're on the same time zone for the first time in our friendship. So this is kind of nice, actually.
That's right. You're in Saskatchewan.
Nope.
And no, wait, what?
Manitoba.
Close
enough.
You're Manitoba. That's what I was thinking. Like, I'm like, what time? I thought you were in Saskatchewan. So like a half of Saskatchewan is on one time zone and the other half is on another time. Because people like chose not to use the daylight. I don't know. I don't know.
Mind you, people from Saskatchewan also put watermelons on their head during Grey Cup. So
okay.
I don't judge them. They are their own breed.
Fair enough. And yeah, they're useful contributors or contributors to society. And we thank you for all your potash. We really appreciate it, Saskatchewan. But yeah, so I'm down here in Texas now. I used to be in British Columbia and we were both on Central Time. So that makes life a lot easier. And it makes life easier for everybody who's in the viewing audience as well. It's not so late at night because my work schedule didn't allow for it before. We can do this a lot earlier and everybody enjoys it. And that's how we are. Now, Jasmin, you've been really busy because, you've been busy with two major things that I've noticed. And you tell me if you've been busy with much more, because I'm sure you have been. Okay. But two of the big major things that I've seen is there's this big controversy that has happening with the Conservative Party. I see in Canada, there's a bit of like a coup, it almost looks like. Looks like old members and even Doug Ford's trying to get their little claws in there at the power. And then also the other side of it is you've been helping out with Canada by actually making a dialogue between Canada and the United States when it comes to trade negotiations. When other people are unwilling to do anything, you're out there, you're talking to the ambassador of the United States and trying to make some sort of dialogue, because it doesn't seem like there's any real inroads when it comes to the political apparatus in Canada. So, I mean, which one do you want to hit first? Do you want to hit the U.S.?
Let's talk about U.S. first.
Okay, let's go into that.
Yeah, no, I had the opportunity about a year ago now to grab a breakfast with U.S. Ambassador Pete Hoekstra, and it was super off the record, super private. He was sussing me out. I was sussing him out. And we ended up just having a really nice, cordial conversation. And then shortly thereafter, I was approved to do an interview with him, which was fantastic. And we've certainly managed to build up a very diplomatic relationship at this point. I think with him, though, one thing is, he goes on mainstream media and everybody just ridicules him and they cut him off every 3 words that he says. Whereas for me, I treat him like he's my grandpa and or like that cool uncle. And so like I'm just me around him, and I think that he kind of appreciates that because it's so different than how he's treated by so much of the other media class in the country. So I'm very, very grateful for that. I was pretty.
I'd say that's probably why the best clips of Hoekstra are from your show, because you're actually letting them speak, right? So like most of the stuff that actually makes it through the media brigade and gets out on social media and gets shared down here in the United States actually comes from your show.
Oh,
you're nailing it on the head right there. It's like people have said to me, they say like, hey Clyde, I like watching your show because you'll actually let people respond. That's it's the key. It's the
yeah.
key. Like, let people talk.
Yeah. And you know what? I think too, I would extend this to, because I reach out to people on the left all the time. Like, I send cold emails every Friday. It's a part of my schedule, has been forever. They never respond on the left, but every once in a while, some of the other people do. But I would extend the exact same grace that I do with people who are on my own side of the political aisle, in that I'm not here to debate you. I want to interview you. So I'm going to ask you questions and you answer. And I honestly think that there's been something really bizarre in the Canadian, I don't know what the word would be, but like the Canadian political class and the reception of it, or
Mhm.
perception of it by citizens, because it's so frequent that there's people I talk to, and people will comment and they'll be like, you never even challenged him. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not his wife. Like, no, duh. Like, I'm trying to get answers out of things. We can debate whatever it is afterwards, but my goal here isn't to like be confrontational and make somebody have a bad time. I want you to enjoy the conversation and we can nitpick about whatever afterwards. Whereas I find so much of the media class in this country, because it's so, everything is click driven, right? It's intensity, it's clicks, it's, so you're trying to get those moments live while they happen, and as a result of that, you kind of, one, damage the relationship, and two, you actually ruin the whole purpose of having certain people on your platforms to begin with, which is to figure out what the heck is going on. So I've learned a lot from them, and to not do that. But I will also give myself a little bit of credit, because there was a series of tariffs that Canada had on the US that were making certain grocery prices more expensive, that the only reason why the government removed them, and they're like in part made some grocery prices go down, was actually because of my interview with Pete Hoekstra. And
Wow.
CBC News had initially, they had actually clipped my show, and then they had said that they said, what planet is he living on? It's like he's living in an alternate reality. And they were talking about how it's like misinformation, fake news. And then a week later, the prime minister announced that they were going to be removing the tariffs on those products he mentioned, because they were in violation of USMCA, or as we call it here, CUSMA. So,
Mhm.
so yeah, I don't know. It is the power of conversation, and it's okay to not always see eye to eye, but I think it's really important to separate things too, so that you can, it's like, oh, I don't like Trump. Cool. Well, this guy isn't Trump. Sure, he represents the administration, but if you want to understand Trump, it's probably a good idea to talk to people around him. If you want the situation to improve so you do like Trump, maybe, or maybe you're just fine with whatever because it's not your country anyway.
Mhm.
Like, this is kind of how you're supposed to go about that. So, yeah, there's been a couple things that I've been pretty lucky he has broken the news on while chatting with me, and I really like him. I think he's a lovely man. He's got a great sense of humor and good head on his shoulders. He's just very American. That's probably the best way that I could put it. He's
Which
very
to a lot
American.
of Canadians right now is a very negative thing. I mean, it's so crazy, this drummed up drama that Canadians have with the United States at the moment. And I mean,
It's
it,
embarrassing.
it is embarrassing. I mean, it's something that's been around for a very long time. I'm a dual citizen. I've always been for my whole life. And every time people would find out this, you get treated a little differently. And, I experimented with this because, oh, maybe that's just me. I asked people around Texas. I found a waitress. She was a bartender waitress in where was it, in Fort Worth. And a friend of mine, we were at this place and we were talking with her. She said, "Oh yeah, I used to spend summers up in Ontario when I was a kid." And as soon as people would find out that I was from America, they would treat me differently. And it became like a real thing. And people would be rude to her. And then like at the time, George Bush was president, right?
Yeah.
And then when they found out she was from Texas, it would get even worse. And it's like Canadians want to take out their aggression on just average, regular, everyday people, or just other people for the made up issues. In fact,
Hmm.
I mean, I've been saying this a lot on the channel. I think that a lot of Canada's issues stem from the fact that they can't negotiate in good terms or in
Hmm.
good faith, because Canada has these giant trade barriers when it comes to well, we all know milk, dairy, that kind of thing, and that it's disgusting what they did when Carney got in and he pushed He pushed for like making it illegal to even discuss this with global affairs. But then also it's telecommunications, it's banking, it's softwood lumber. There's all these different things that Canada has been putting in place for a very long time. And the United States, since the Second World War, was like, yeah, okay, little buddy, you're fine. But now it's come a time where America is like, no, no, no. We want to get back our industrial base. We want to become what we were a long time ago, and we have the power to do it. We've just been too polite. And now I don't think America's being rude, but Canada's just having a hard time dealing with the fact that America is asserting itself. Does that make sense?
It does. I would add to it as well, and people will call me a traitor for this. So,
oh, of course, here it comes.
Gosh. But I would add too that I think the most frustrating aspect of it is you do not have to agree with the approach the U.S. administration is taking. However, it's not as though it came as a shock. That was something that Donald Trump was quite open about, and I think as well. I think there's so many different things at play as it pertains to Canada, but there's so much of it would actually be really beneficial to Canada.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's what's really blown my mind is we have spent a year and a half plus complaining incessantly about the same thing every day. Could you imagine if Mark Carney had gotten in, he had changed a couple of the regulations that were really hurting our producers and manufacturers here. He had decided, you know what? Yeah, China, who's been stealing our businesses' patents for the last number of years, China, who's doing all these things that are terrible. They're not a great ally. Yeah, we should actually follow along with the U.S. in that regard, just like Justin Trudeau did. I'll give him credit for that when it came to Chinese electric vehicles, at the very least. And, we should do that. Okay, yeah, great. Everybody, China sucks, and then instead, though, sorry, long thought here, but like, if we had done that, let's say that he put these things in place within the first couple of months, we would be seeing the results of that and they would be positive, right? And so, I find it quite ironic that every time the left will say something about Canada's economy and how good it is, they'll always cite the exact same regurgitated talking points without ever looking into them. So like Canada's foreign direct investment numbers, the headline number is really high. It looks impressive. You dig into it. And, that's actually largely because American companies are buying out Canadian companies. So that counts as foreign direct investment, but it's not the same as foreign direct investment. Like, as an example, there's been several major plants and mills and things like that have taken up shop in the United States of America. They're not going to be doing their manufacturing in Canada anymore. That's a very different version of FDI than what Canada has been counting. And it's really frustrating because there are truly so few policies you just need to repeal, ease up on a little bit, and Canada could be the energy superpower that everybody talks about. We're an energy superpower. You're not just because you say it repeatedly. Like, you have to actually do something to be that. And I agree. We should be. We are. Like, we are such a resource rich nation. And it breaks my heart. It does. And it's so irritating to just hear people constantly be, oh, well, Trump, well, he started it. I'm like, holy crap. Like, you got to put your elbows down because y'all are losing some major blood flow to your brains here. Like, this is crazy. Again, you don't have to like Trump. Great. He's not your president. Like, okay, cool.
But he's doing the right things. He's doing all the right things.
He's doing what he said he was going to do.
Exactly. So on energy, for example, America was an importer of energy until Donald Trump came in. Now they're a net exporter of energy. Now Canada
recently became a net importer of energy.
That's crazy. It's unbelievable, of course. But the thing is, Canada, you want to brag about the energy that's available in Canada. Start taking it out of the ground. Yeah, absolutely. Start taking it out of the ground. Why is Quebec not producing all the natural gas and all of that stuff? Is because, well, the environmentalism. Well, listen, well, as long as you're a rich country, you can think about environmentalism, but that's dwindling quick. It's dwindling like fast. And Alberta, sure, you have tons of oil, but we have one customer. That's it. If you unless you can get that to port, then you're just the supplier of tidbits for the United States of America that already produces way more than it can consume and sells it off to the rest of the world. As
Mhm.
not to mention Venezuela coming online as a huge producer of the same kind of crude that comes out of Canada, and that's going, where does it go? Right here to beautiful Texas, right? It comes here to Texas just like the Canadian crude comes to Texas. So listen, Canada, like get your act together. You could be an energy superpower, just like the United States kept saying, drill, baby, drill. That's how you get it done. Get to work. And
Mhm.
I know that there's so many, like millions of Canadians that would love to get to work. It's just you have all the people that don't really want to get to work in the way.
Well, people like to complain. And I think that's also a big problem when you have policies dictated to you by activists and not dictated by public opinion or public support. Because,
Mhm.
even in terms of so much of what is preventing us from getting oil to other major markets. And that's the thing too. It's frustrating as well as whenever we talk about this stuff, like it's not black and white, obviously. But there's layers of things that need to happen. Even one of them, like, okay, so we're arguing about whether or not we're going to get a pipeline to XYZ. Great. So what about building up our capacity to do that in the meantime? What about building export infrastructure in the meantime? Like, what about all of these other things to show that we're serious and we're actually going to do this? But we never do because we're so hung up on fighting over, well, maybe we should do it. I don't know. Coastal First Nations, who's not actually a First Nations band, they're actually funded by American Democrats. They say that we shouldn't do it. Like, it's just so there's so many layers to it that are really absurd, and it doesn't send a good faith signal to the market in the slightest. That's not to say that there haven't been some decent wins, but they're not wins that are tangible or impacting the everyday citizen. Like even all of these MOUs, memorandums of understanding, or as Ron Kubik, who owns Lightning Rod, I think it's called, or Lightning Rock distillery winery, my apologies, but he had said this on CBC News recently. He said the memorandum of uselessness, because
Yeah,
it's like, you're going around, you're signing all of these things. Okay, cool. So, and you look into the
it's just
details of
talk.
it. Yeah. And it's like, okay, so in the event that this actually materializes by 2030, let's say,
Mhm.
well, who benefits from that? Is it going to impact the everyday Canadians? No, actually, because it's an agreement that says that Saudi or somebody's going to come in, spend a couple schmillion, couple billion, whatever it may be. Oh, and they also get ownership of the project. So that means the only money we get is the temporary construction jobs, and then perhaps opportunities for some people within the same industry who could potentially maybe be employed. Like, who
But
knows?
here's the thing: nobody's lining up to make these investments in Canada.
No.
Honestly, and this is what the Austrian economists, they call regime uncertainty. When you have like a socialist type government come into power where they're usurping the means of everything. Canada has been pretty good at removing private property rights from
Mhm.
its citizenry. Do you think anyone wants to come in and spend money on an infrastructure project that they don't know that it's going to be a Hugo Chavez type scenario in the next 10 years? Of course not. They're not going to put that money into it only to lose it. So regime uncertainty is where Canada's at when it comes to the economic thing. So this is where the government comes in and says, okay, well, we're going to do public private partnerships and we're going to fund this project. Like, okay, well, all that tells me is that you're going to make a pipeline. It's going to cost 10 times as much and
Mhm.
take 3 times longer.
And who's going to be the ones who build it? Oh, right. The same people who get the procurement contracts from you guys always. Cool. Like, that's the thing, too, where there's so many of these things. Canada has so much talent. We have so many people who are so desperate to get out of this mess to the point that they're leaving this country en masse. Like, and it's so fascinating, too, because, it's like the opposite of what socialism typically is, where it'll be like the very, very poor who are really feeling it. They're the
Mhm.
first ones to flee. But in Canada, it's the very, very rich who are smart enough to understand what all of this means.
Yes.
They're fleeing. And it's just it's just very scary. And I think ultimately too, welcome to what being a post-national state means in 2026, where you
Damn.
do not have a guiding light. You do not have a fallback. You don't have anything. And you want to even take a look at so many of the policies and regulations and why they exist. All of that is postmodern. All of that is where everything is subjective. There's no absolute truth. We have to care about everybody else's feelings and how it makes us look. Like, it's not based in a tangible, physical reality of truth. It is based on, well, how does this look? Ooh, I don't know, whose feelings am I hurting? Ooh. And that's why we allow activists to block these things. And it's really sad. And I think the one thing that I always say to people too is, it's so sad because it does not have to be like this. Like, that just breaks my heart when I think about it. Even the other day, and I'm not saying this to be prideful in any way, shape, or form. But even the other day, I was at a store and I was like buying shampoo and makeup from Shoppers Drug Mart. And there was a mom there whose daughter had this little stuffed animal and she really wanted to buy it for her daughter. And she was buying some like light groceries at Shoppers, which, I mean, for the record, that's expensive AF. You should have totally gone to like Freshco or something. But desperate times. But her daughter had picked out this toy, and the mom, I could see that she had like fake scanned it because she knew she couldn't afford it on top of everything else that they had.
Oh no.
And I'm sitting here witnessing this, and her daughter's like, oh, please, I would really like this, yada, yada. And she was being so sweet about it. And her mom was like, I'm so sorry, baby. Like, we really can't afford it right now. Like, I don't know. I'm trying to scan it. Oh, it's not working. I'm so sorry, honey. Like, next time. And so, of course, me being me, coming from like rural Manitoba, where you would do anything to help out anybody in your community, I called over the cashier guy and I was like, hey, I think the machine they're trying to scan this on is broken. Can you maybe help us scan it over on this one? And then I ended up buying it. And I gave it to her and they were like, oh my God. Like, and again, I don't say that to be prideful in the slightest. I say that to say that, number one, always important to help out people wherever you can, even for something like that. Number two,
Absolutely.
though, people are hurting really bad. And it's really freaking sad to see because it doesn't have to be like this. And so, when I experience things like that, it reminds me of all of the people who get left behind, that the government, none of the press conferences, the fanfare, it's not for them. It's not. All of the big fancy speeches and word slop, it's not for those people. Those people have been forgotten and left behind. And it's horrible because those people are everything and they're raising the future generations. And it's just devastating. It just is really devastating.
No, it's such a sad story. I'm so sorry that people are going through that. And thank you so much for taking care of the people in your community.
I have 4 nephews. Like, I spoil them rotten. So I'm like, I'm not going to sit here and have this adorable little girl talking about how badly she wants this toy and see the situation going on and not like, I'm like, I got some, I can help. I got this. Don't worry. It wasn't that expensive. So I'm like, I'm on it.
My mom has a similar story growing up. It was like, Christmas in the household, and she really, really wanted this doll, and she bugged and bugged and bugged. She wanted it, and then she got it, and then she learned about Santa, and she felt so bad. Like they were in Scotland, right? It was post-war Scotland, and then they moved away. They had to move away from the place. But she carried that for the rest of her life, and then they didn't talk about Santa when I was growing up.
Really?
Yeah, it was like nativity and
wow.
all of that. I learned about Santa in grade school.
You must have been the worst guy ever because you're the one who's like, yeah, it's not real. Just killing it for everybody else.
No, I learned it. Well, I learned about all this stuff. Like, no, we were just very Christian growing up.
No, that's fine.
Okay, so talking about like hanging on to some false hope, the media has been hanging on to some false hope that Donald Trump would lose in the midterms, and it looks like they're fizzling out on this one, and they're actually like lamenting it already. It's already happening. I got this clip. Check this out. This is a CBC segment. Sent terror through the hearts of every liberal boomer frothing at the mouth with TDS. Here's the clip.
One thing that I think I want to put on the radar for Canadians, and I know that the history would put it that the Democrats would have a very strong turnout in the midterms, the way that the polls are suggesting it. A number of us in the DC Bureau, after doing many trips out into Republican country, I am not convinced that the Democrats are going to do as well in the midterms, particularly in the House. I don't think that, just based on when we go out and we go talk to people, I know it's very anecdotal. I'm not necessarily convinced that the historic trends that would normally happen in this moment, because it's just the way that Republicans have branded Democrats and the way it's resonated in small communities, or even like, anyway, we can talk about this in the second block of the power panel, but I'm not.
See, Katie, I baited you.
Yeah, so that's only one clip. There are so many other clips of them lamenting this fact. They thought, and this, I mean, it's tantamount to foreign interference, actually, where they're like campaigning for the Democrats with the CBC, which is the state-run broadcast media, the government broadcasting this stuff out. And it's so transparent, but if it went the other way, that would just be travesty. And oh my God, how are they doing this? Of course. But yeah, they're seeing it. They're seeing the forest through the trees, and they're looking at what Mamdami's done in New York, and which is not different from the NDP in Canada, which is just absolutely crazy. And they're looking at it and saying, I don't think Trump's going to lose this one. They're actually doing really freaking good.
The thing about it that drives me nuts is it's irrelevant to me. Like when have Canadians ever cared about midterms in the US? Never.
Yeah.
Like not like this. Like
not like this. Yeah, not like
they're
this.
pretty irrelevant overall. And I think like it's just such an embarrassing strategy too. Like, oh yeah, well, we might hold out to the midterms. Why? What? Like, I'm sorry, you have had accumulatively, and there's been some bumps in it as well. Like, I'm not going to ignore all the nuance there, but overall, things have been real bad. Every month there have been several new businesses leaving, and you're just waiting and hoping. Do you Clyde, you may not remember this, but Mark Carney, I remember at his Liberal convention, like a pure communist, said, hope is not a strategy. But we're really hoping for the midterms, though, because maybe, I'm like, huh? Like, bro, listen to yourself. Nostalgia is not a virtue. But we're really hoping that maybe Donald Trump won't have as much power because we are kind of nostalgic about that. Like, it's just like, come on, dude. Like, get it together. And again, you know what? It does continuously, time and time again. And this is something that I don't particularly care what names people call me about this one. It's just true. But like, it's just repeatedly blame and scapegoat. My God, Canada, do you know what you could be if you stopped doing that? Like, if you took some accountability and you actually tried, you want to get back at Donald Trump, outcompete America, do it. Like, do it. Yeah. And you want to know something? If you lose, you're still going to win because we're not doing good. So why don't we at least try that? It's oh no, and it's like all these people too.
Well, if you lose against number one, you're number two, right?
Yeah.
Like, let's not forget that.
Like nothing wrong with being number two. Better than being bottom of the G7 in most data points.
Absolutely.
Just saying.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, it's I mean, it's crazy that, the Canadians hired Mark Carney out of an emotional appeal. It's an emotional response to Donald Trump and what Donald Trump was saying. And Donald Trump was saying a joke. Become the 51st state.
Donald Trump was saying what Justin Trudeau said to him.
Yes, it was Justin Trudeau's joke.
And is it undiplomatic? Sure. Could it have hurt your feelings? Sure. Does it make you feel insecure? Yes. Why? Because you are. Because we're not in a good spot. If Canada had said that about America, Americans would have not paid attention at all.
Oh, they just laughed. Yeah, okay.
Right? Yeah, like it doesn't matter. And I think that, again, that's why I go back to like being a post-national state, right? Is like if you have a society of people who have been conditioned and slow dripped this notion that everything they are is evil and bad and we need to get away from it, that nothing about your country matters because your country is actually just a mosaic of a million other countries and it's just this beautiful utopia. Like if that's your worldview, you're pretty screwed then when it comes to competing with a nation who is very sure of itself, who has never been told, especially by their leaders, to think of themselves as weaker or smaller.
Unless you're in the blue sections of America, there is
yeah,
pockets of
but
that.
I would say like even the founding fathers, you know, the Constitution, all of these things were written in a way that were so particular and so distinct. And what does Canada have? You know, our policies change every 6 months. No wonder people don't want to invest here. All of these data points are going down, but then we're told that it's amazing. Everything's amazing. Good luck running on that one forever. Like, and I think that's also what makes me sad too, is it's such an ideological capture, because in normal situations, when people start to feel it, they start to think a little bit differently. Whereas in Canada, the media, in many cases, as well as the government, has done such an excellent job at scapegoating and blame placing, pointing the finger everywhere else so that you never point it back at them, that Canadians, when they feel it, they say, oh, well, there's a war though. Okay. And
Yeah, whatever.
like,
it's the crescendo of the
Donald
Liberal
Trump
Party,
blinked
right?
twice really fast today in a press conference.
So
Okay.
it's definitely the crescendo of the Liberal Party. The Liberal Party, you know, for the 10 years that Justin Trudeau was prime minister, they blamed everything on Harper. Everything was on Harper before that, and then they had to shift. They had to shift from that. They couldn't blame Harper anymore because everybody was blaming
They still
Trudeau. Oh, well, they still do, but everybody was blaming Trudeau, and that's what the sentiment across Canada was. Things are bad because of Trudeau. So what did they do instead of, you know, getting rid of Trudeau and then blaming Trudeau as the Liberal Party? Everything focused over to Donald Trump. It was just a perfect moment for them. They got that. A lot of people, a lot of conservatives, and I hate this one, conservatives blaming Pierre's loss on Donald Trump. Like, get over it. Pierre shit the bed on that election. Yeah, it wasn't great timing. It wasn't a great approach. But I think not seeking out new voters and just doing rah-rahs with the Gen Xers and boomers that are already voting for you, it was not a good strategy. And on top of that, Mark Carney came out and somehow won over people. It's like,
it was
gotta
the
hand it to the
authoritative
Liberals
posturing, right? And I also think that if the media had done a good job, if the media had done what the media is supposed to do, which is investigate and do some honest reporting, instead of ignoring all of these details that matter a lot, they only talked about the good parts. I always joke right now, I'm like, every time Tiff Macklem makes an update for like inflation, I'm like, oh, cool. Is this like Canada's future prime minister who saved us during the Trump crisis of 2025 and 26? Like, I'm just waiting for it. Mark my words. If Tiff Macklem ever runs for PM and they use that line, somebody has to buy me Chinese food or something, because like that's my prediction now. But it's just so weak, right? Like, it's so frustrating. And you know, in terms of the conservative strategy, whatever, like, yeah, sure, they could have absolutely done things better to differentiate themselves. It is what it is. It's just like, okay, cool. Like, now let's try to figure out where to go from here. You know, I have a thought that I'm curious to bounce off of you, Clyde.
Sure.
You know how our economy, relatively speaking at least, was pretty on par considering our size in the years leading up to Justin Trudeau. And Justin Trudeau comes in and there were some pretty big changes made. And we started to see the ripple effects of them years down. You know, like, I don't begrudge people necessarily, like, I don't begrudge people for voting for him in 2015. A lot of people wanted free pot. Okay.
I was trying to convince my friends not to vote. I remember seeing the Facebook posts all over the place.
This
people
is
that
why
I knew
come from a good family,
for the
because
guy.
I was not into the devil's lettuce myself, so that never got me. I was never swayed.
I'm the same. I don't know. I'm not because of that. I've tried it. I didn't like it. It's just that's me,
fair.
right? It's not my cup of tea. But of course, I'm in favor of it being legal. I never liked his method of how he wanted to make it legal. I knew it was going to be a debacle. I knew it was going to be cronyism and only his friends getting in and taking over the industry, which is exactly what happened. A lot of people in that industry ended up getting crowded out by cronies. and it sucks. It sucks how they rolled that out. Now that's not to say that Texas is doing any better. Right now, they just made a bunch of stuff illegal here in Texas, and
did they?
Yeah, it doesn't affect me, but personally, but I'm not keen on that for a place that's like
I'm curious about that.
freedom. Yeah, no, they there was just a Supreme Court decision in Texas that ruled against the potheads, and yeah, not great for freedom. Again, it doesn't affect me at all, but I just don't think people should go to jail for Schedule 1.
Not for like life sentences and things like that. I think that's a little crazy.
No, I think it's like mandatory 2 years or something. It's crazy though.
Yeah. So one thought that I've had a lot, and I haven't fully thought this one through yet, so bear with me here, but you know, we had Justin Trudeau and things kind of started going the way that they did. The record was so bad that he ended up resigning for several reasons, but there was this whole coup stage with Chrystia Freeland, who ironically, magically works for Ukraine now. And there was all of these things that took place there, and to parachute in Mark Carney, who did not want to be prime minister, I will add. He did not want that. I have heard that on very good authority. He hated it. He does not like being in House of Commons. He does not like doing press, but he was promised by a Mr. Gerald Butts that he would get a majority government if they parachuted him in with the strategy that they had. And he said, dang, that'll be really good for my business. Okay. And did it, then ended up not getting a majority, and then did get a majority for the first time in the Westminster system, which is quite shocking, I would add, in the way that he went about doing that. So he got what he wanted. Ultimately, though, we're in the situation now where Canada's economy was declining in various aspects. And then Trump tariffs happened, and that exposed the rot from within with our economy, that exposed our vulnerabilities in several areas. And I always think about this, and I want to know what you think about it. The fact that all of these ideological policies, the postmodern style of governance that was introduced in full by Justin Trudeau, I would argue, we were able to do that only because it didn't really matter how bad our economic report would be month over month, year over year. We always had the backbone of America to kind of prop that up. And then we had the backbone of, you know, mass immigration to temporarily inflate GDP numbers and things like that too. So there was always a mask on it until Trump tariffs came into play. And even in that case too, I mean, I would argue the biggest hurt from Trump tariffs is not even the tariffs directly on Canada. It's actually the amount of businesses who are leaving because they hate paying taxes the way that they do, and they hate how uncompetitive it is and the regulatory burdens. Like, it's not even necessarily the tariffs themselves in many cases. But I'm curious what you think about that notion, this fact that the one reason why Canada was able to go so woke, money-wise at least, was largely because of our relationship with America. Then America kind of pulls the plug on some things. They have a harder posturing, a harder front. And now Canadians hate America. And it's like the only reason why so many Canadians were able to be radicalized to this point was actually because we were benefiting from America the whole time. Thoughts?
Yes, Canada exists because of America. Like, let's just put that. If Canada was say you broke it off and you put it into outer space or something and said be fruitful and prosper, do you think that Canadians would all settle at the lowest border in Canada? No, they would probably spread it all around the place. You know, you see a bit of this in Alberta because people actually spread around Alberta.
Yeah.
Because at the border, Montana, there's like it's busy, and then you go into Montana and you're like, where is everybody? There's nobody. Like, what's going on? It's because Americans aren't huddling with the Canadian border. That's the difference, right? Americans are living where it's hospitable and where, you know, industry can form and people can do things. Canada is the thin strip of land above the border, and everything else is uninhabitable, and people generally don't live there. It's like 99% of the population live within 100 miles of the border, and it's because that's where all the prosperity is. It's in the best experiment that's ever happened. It's only been happening for 250 years, but the best experiment that's ever happened in human history. It's fantastic. And you might say, Clyde, you're just getting in that American exceptionalism thing. Yeah, I am. It's exceptional. Like,
Yeah.
it is exceptional. That's what's in the name, right? It's exceptional. It's great. Experience it. Come visit down here and enjoy it for a minute, and then you'll actually see what's going on. Many people who are doing the elbozo thing, they're coming over and they're experiencing it. We see all over social media people at Trader Joe's, and it's all nothing but Ontario plates in the thing. But like, it's this cognitive disconnect that people have. Like, get with it. You know where your prosperity comes from. Your majority of your trade comes from the United States. Your business exists because you sell to Americans. Like, that's exactly Canada. Now, if you take that away, Canada ceases to exist. So why would you be petulant and childish when somebody says we've had an unfair trade practice with you because you've created trade barriers? I understand you want to protect certain industries. I understand you want to do that stuff. But if we did the same to you, you would not exist and it would be over for you. So we want to give you the opportunity to make things right. And if you don't, here's the deal. You're going to pay this. You're going to pay that. We're going to put all kinds of problems. We're going to give you all kinds of problems. And Donald Trump straight up says, we don't want to make cars in Detroit. We want to make our cars in Detroit. We don't want to make them in Windsor, Ontario. We don't want to make them in Sarnia and London, Ontario, all these places. We want to make them in Detroit. We want to make them in Toledo. We want to make them in Ohio and Cleveland and all these different places. Why the hell would we give our businesses opportunity to go there when we can have them here paying taxes to the federal government, when Canada is doing all this stuff to skirt the idea of even paying for the national security that they enjoy? It's crazy. I mean, I could go on for hours about this. A couple of years ago, last summer or whatever, Cessna goes up in the air in Vancouver, hijacked. Who came to the rescue? Well, technically it was NORAD, Clyde. Yeah, NORAD is who? America.
Yeah.
It's you signing a piece of paper saying you can come into our territory and protect us for like little to no cost. And when we say, hey, can you spend a little bit more? You get all huffy and puffy. Like, give me a break. Like, give me an absolute break on this one. No, come to the table with something.
I want to jump on that as well, though, because ultimately, too, everything that you're saying, I feel like the frame in Canada is wrong, factually wrong. And I understand how feelings are. I get that aspect of it. And so, if you don't like how it sounds, if you think that it's intense, it's not diplomatic, that's okay. Okay, that's fine. But let's move past the emotion, okay? Let's move past how much you don't like Trump, okay? And let's just look at things exactly as they are. And I think, in terms of the dairy, as an example, to my understanding, and apologies if I'm wrong, but to my understanding, what the American administration wants is actually something closer to what Canada already shares with every country except America when it comes to dairy. They still have quotas in certain issues, but it's not like it is with American producers. Like, with American producers, it's a totally different ballgame, and it is far more restrictive, and it does seem to be incredibly unfair. And that's been run for a really long time. And, people will say, oh, well, it's for our dairy producers, yada, yada, the local farmers. No, it's not. There used to be like 98 of them, and there's 3 now, and I think 3, and they're all owned by the exact same big conglomerates. So who are you protecting? It's not the local producers. It's not them. It's actually these 3
and the
major,
propaganda.
Yeah, it's just so silly.
So the propaganda that's associated with this is pretty intense. And when you get chatting with people online, you figure it out pretty quickly. Now, it's a racket. So, and it's been a racket for a very long time. 2024 trade negotiations with Britain walked away from the negotiation table and said, listen, when you can put your big boy pants on about dairy, we'll come back to the table. They literally said that. And Donald Trump's doing the same thing. He's saying, come to the table and actually negotiate. And so there's these dairy carve-outs that were allowed under the USMCA. And these carve-outs are in the form of quotas. So these quotas, this is the biggest racket, Jasmin. Like, it's so funny when you dig into it and you start like being a real journalist and asking people in the industry and making emails and talking to people, cold calling and stuff. You'll say, how does this actually work? Well, I don't want to be on the record about this. Everybody doesn't want to be on the record about it. It is such a racket. The way it works is in Ottawa, they hand out these coupons, basically, they're quotas, and you get to buy American dairy with this quota at a massively discounted price. So you're buying it at American prices, and then you get to introduce it onto the Canadian market. And get this, you don't have to tell people that it's American dairy. It's not required. So you don't have to tell people that. So all the people that are saying we don't want BSTs in our thing, and all American producers have BSTs. Well, what about the American dairy that comes onto your table and you don't even know about it? I guarantee you there's no BSTs because you go to every supermarket in America and it's written right on the products, no BSTs everywhere. And then people are like, I had the gall of some people to say, well, the way it's written is like they have to write that, and if they didn't, there's like some like loophole that they're allowed to put BST. Like, get out of here. Like, no, it's not how it works. And by the way, you're getting this on your dinner table anyway through these dairy quotas. Now, the quotas are allowed for only certain people that are cronies, like friends of politicians. They get these quotas, and guess what they're doing? They're not supposed to be doing this. This is illegal. They're selling them. They're buying and selling these quotas.
Oh, I believe
between producers. Totally illegal, mafioso kind of thing. And guess what? Who loses? The Canadian consumer. Every single time, it's the Canadian consumer. People are like, well, why should we have subsidized dairy that the governments in the state governments in Wisconsin or other states are subsidizing the dairy? It's like, you kidding me? If somebody wanted to buy you lunch, you're gonna say no? Like, what? No, I don't want the subsidy. So put a tariff on it. So but it's a 400% tariff outside of this quota system. You're still consuming American dairy. You don't know about it, but you're consuming it. And again, everybody loses. It's crazy. You know how good the cheese is here?
Oh, it's the best.
It's so good.
It's the best. I've been to Texas more than most people from Manitoba, and it's the best.
It's so good. And it's abundant. It's cheap. It's like whatever. Yeah. It's like, I remember cheap cheese when I was growing up. It was like cheaper. And then I remember when I, out of my teenage years, I moved to Whistler, and all of these people from around the world, lots of Australians and English and Irish and all kinds of people would come there for snowboarding. And I had roommates. Like, I lived in a dorm with a bunch of ski bums, right? And the biggest talk of the town was, why is cheese so freaking expensive here? It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It's really, that's the thing too, ultimately. And I suppose that kind of goes back to my original point of like, the framing that we have is wrong in so many regards. And even one thing I've been just loathing this narrative lately of, oh, well, a deal with Trump, what does it even mean anyway? Because he's just going to change his mind. And I'm like,
no,
okay.
He doesn't change his mind. He's pretty straightforward. Like, and
we have all these concessions that we've already made about these things. And it's like, yeah. Okay, so let me put this to you very plainly. If your mom was running home late from work and she had a group of gal pals coming over for book club and she was feeding them dinner, she asks you to unload the dishwasher and set the table so that like the McDonald's she picks up on the way back home can just go there and everybody has a place to sit because she's going to be home late.
This is a strange analogy. I want to know where it goes.
Fine. And then you're like, of course, Mom, I got this. What time are the girls coming over? 6:30? Not a problem. I'm going to do it right now so everything's ready. Then your mom gets stuck, behind a slow driver. And then when she gets home, she sees that the table's not set and her friends are all sitting on the couch, hungry, wondering when they can eat. She's got like hands full of groceries, chicken nuggets. I don't know why I said McDonald's, whatever. And then she looks at you and she says, hey, I thought you were going to make sure everything was ready for book club when the girls came over and we were having dinner. And you said, yeah, I know I said I was going to help you with that, but I decided to Swiffer the floors instead. She'd be like, oh, okay, thanks. But I really needed you to help set the table for dinner. That's how I kind of feel what Donald Trump and all of that is about. And I just think it's really silly to be upset about the fact that you have made concessions largely from these new things that you added in that never needed to be there in the first place. Like, you know, I'll think about even the streaming tax the CRTC ruled recently. Why would you allow that to happen? Why would that happen? Oh,
That was
well, we made a
Parliament.
concession about that. No, you didn't. You introduced a new irritant and you removed it because it was a new irritant, and it's pretty stupid to keep punching, you know, somebody in, and I'm not, this is probably a bad one, but like, it's pretty stupid if like, if somebody says, hey, stop punching me in the face or I'm going to punch you in the face, and you keep punching them in the face, that's probably a bad strategy. You're going to get punched in the face. So that's kind of how I feel with a lot of this too. Like,
well,
ultimately,
the other one too. So everything that Trump has done has been in compliance with USMCA, right? So even the tariffs are in compliance with USMCA.
Canada signed it.
Canada
signed this. Like,
well, and that's the thing. Like, everyone's saying, well, Trump, he's upset with, he signed it. Okay, well, Canada, you signed it. Now, what's in violation of the USMCA? Banning the alcohol from the liquor stores. British Columbia, Ontario, the biggest provinces to do this, right? So in Ontario, it's communist alcohol sales. Because Canada, right? So I have to explain this to my American audience because they just don't believe it. They're like, what do you mean the government runs alcohol sales? Yes, you cannot buy alcohol at any other place other than where the government sells it. And the government is the supplier, distributor, the whole kit and caboodle. In British Columbia, they're the whole supplier and the thing. They also do the retail thing, but you can sell it if you have an off sale attached to a bar thing. It's this thing that they have in British Columbia. It's weird. So, but David Eby did the same thing as Doug Ford. No, we're not going to allow alcohol from America in. That's completely against the USMCA.
It's also completely against freedom in democratic nations, dare I add.
Absolutely. Yes.
And then they'll brag. Yeah, see, well, Canadians are not buying. Canadians are sending a message. No, we're not. If you were so confident we were, why did you have to remove it from shelves?
Well, here, okay, and I'll express how foolish this is. So in British Columbia, the liquor stores, the BLC or the LCBC liquor stores, they actually covered it all up at first with blankets, and then they took it all off. I know. So and then they took it off the shelves. But get this. The independent stores that were still legally allowed to sell it because they had the inventory, they kept it on the shelves, and I watched it slowly dwindle as people continued to purchase it.
Well, exactly.
They continued to purchase it because
you hear Ontario
the actual
as
people.
Well? It's been like $8 million in storing it.
Oh, this taxpayer dollars, dude. It's so crazy, so crazy. Like, shoot yourself in the foot.
It's just not a good strategy. Like, the best strategy you could have, and, you know, like, it's just the ego and the pride for me. And again, you know, it upsets me, too, that Canada's in this position. It upsets me so much that we have year over year voted in the very same government that has weakened us to this point. That is deeply upsetting to me. And so that's the main focus. You know, like, we should never, ever have more criticism for a foreign government than our own. You should never, ever be called a traitor or have fellow socialists be like, oh, you should move then. You like America so much, just move there. Well, unlike our prime minister,
until you do,
like,
and then they hate that
passport. So, like, it's just, and honestly, maybe, I don't know, Clyde looks great with a tan, so I'm kind of considering it.
Hey, thank you.
But like, it's just so silly. And, you know, at the end of the day, kind of going back to my earlier point, Donald Trump in this scenario, I don't think has been unpredictable. I don't actually. I think that he has done things that have caught the general public by surprise. I don't think they've caught the government by surprise because his administration is pretty on top of sending out notices in advance before something becomes public record. So it has caught the general public by surprise. But at the end of the day, like, all of the things that he initially, like, that's the thing too. When he first put these in place, and we can argue all day about whether or not you feel like that's valid. That's another discussion. But when he first put this all in place, he said, clean up your borders, get the drugs off your street, And I think there was another one. I don't even remember what it was now.
You pay for military. Like
Yeah,
we want
that-
2% of your 2% of your
Yeah.
GDP should go towards some military in
Mhm.
some capacity. He didn't even specify. He just said military in some capacity to contribute to protecting the continent. And listen, all they had to do is like turn over to Raytheon and say, "Hey, can you make a couple of like things
Yeah.
for us?" And that's all it would have took. But no, they made a big fuss about it.
And it's so it's so unreal because like, do you know how good it would have been for Canada if we had cleaned up the drugs on our streets? That would have been really good for Canada, you
Mhm.
know? And we didn't do that actually.
Didn't at
Like,
all.
we didn't do that. That's really sad. Like, that's really
Yeah.
sad that we cared more about doing the opposite of what Trump wanted because we have rebranded patriotism is now just resistance to whoever the liberals don't like. That's
Yes.
a dangerous, scary place to be if you want to
Yeah,
continue
do
down
you remember
road.
that like waving a Canadian flag during the convoy or COVID was like you were a racist? Do
Yeah.
you remember that?
I knew everything. I knew it had all gone downhill and we were actually screwed the second that my neighbor 2 doors down, who is a nasty old man, hung a huge Canadian flag and put a Canada's not for sale sign in his door. And I was like, oh no, they've really recruited the worst of the worst for this movement. Like, I'm like, oh, no, not you. Oh, God, I knew I didn't like you, and now it makes sense.
Okay, I'm gonna have to pivot because we don't have much longer, but I do want to
Sorry.
get some of the information about because you're talking about recruiting the worst of the worst. And it looks like some people are trying to recruit themselves for the Conservative Party leadership. It's not even that there's not even a contest happening for Conservative Party leadership, but it seems like there's a groundswell from within. I'm hearing grumblings about Doug Ford trying to vie for leadership. Kenny Kenny from Alberta.
I think Jason Kenney was initially trying to run, and he learned real quickly that he did not have the public approval. And so he actually announced recently that he doesn't plan to now.
So what's happening there? It seems like there's a divide. It seems like there's like certain strategists like Corey Tenike that are trying to put their talons into the Conservative Party. And what's happening? Is there like a push for a new Conservative leadership convention? Is that what's happening?
Not by conservatives, no. And again, Clyde, this is actually one of the things that I like the most about you and I is there are some things that we definitely disagree on.
Sure.
And guess what? I still like you. We're still
we're
friends.
buds. Yeah, we're still buds.
Yeah, like without a doubt. But like I know that you're not as crazy about the Conservative Party and Pierre Poilievre stuff, and that's your democratic right. I support you and all of that.
You'd be
for
surprised.
Sure.
You'd be surprised. I like Pierre. I actually liked Pierre a lot until he had like a anti-American stance in the last election.
No, that's fair.
And that's what I didn't like about him. But I can like a lot of a platform and then go, that sucks, and I can't get on board with. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, of course.
That's where I'm at with Pierre.
So I think there certainly is a faction of some people who probably take more your leaning to it. I know for myself though, like I've spent the last year literally traveling across the country and just meeting so many random people. And it's so funny because I remember when I first started getting into politics, the amount of people who'd be like, Uniparty, it's the Uniparty. And now I'm like, oh, the Uniparty is real. And it's actually the people who are trying to arrange this coup right now. Like, it's not the people I initially was told it was. It's those insiders, like that, those weird people at the top that you don't realize how much influence they actually have. Like
the swamp creatures, the permanent fixture of Ottawa, right? Like
it's the people who call people who have like a rational view of our largest trading partner, Mega or Mega North, or who title things as Trumpian. How many words do we need to make up? Like, this is embarrassing. Those are the people that you should be concerned about. But as far as I'm aware, of course, there's always going to be grievances and whatnot within, political parties and whatever. Like, it's coworkers, it's people working together. You're like, duh, like you're going to have some people who don't fully get along or whatever. But I do truly believe that we are cutting the grass and there are snakes who are slithering away from it. But as a whole with the movement, I I have seen zero evidence outside of what the media wants you to think, and what the individuals who are doing this for their own political gain, motivation, financial gain, what they want you to think. But everybody who I have met and spoken to who is like actually on the ground, none of us see that. So I think that this has been a really interesting PR thing. And it's actually made me feel really disappointed because there's so many people who, it just exposes a lot. And I think at times I can be pretty naive because of my motives and the people who I associate myself with and what their motives are. And I just think like, oh yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good. And then every once in a while, one of those snakes comes slithering around and you're like, oh, that sucks. Actually, like this is like, it's a political thing or it's a money thing. That's why you're pushing that. That's really sad. So there's been a few of those that I've experienced, but I mean, in general, I keep my circle pretty small for that reason. I don't really trust anybody, especially, there are a lot of people who have deep down different intentions than I do with a lot of this. And so I love listening to them and learning from them. But I certainly wouldn't take anything that they say too deeply. And that's not to say that there aren't rational conversations and debates that we can have about messaging and the platform and things like that. Of course there are, and those are all valid. But in terms of, ousting Pierre, there's obviously some people who perhaps have some grievances. I think Jason Kenney was the biggest one. I had heard that he had hired a full team. I would love to give you the names of those people when we are not recording live.
Okay,
But
yeah, sure. I'm not trying to out him. I guess if we out people, but
no,
like,
I want to gossip with you a little bit afterwards. But
sure.
but there's a little bit of that, but it seems as though most of that has quelled. And the vast majority of the rhetoric right now seems to just, even that I don't get though. Like, it's like if Pierre is actually terrible, that would be the best thing for you. Why would you try to inflate that and try to remove him? You want somebody better than him in? That's not usually how that works. So
yeah, see, my gripe with Pierre was not that he was terrible; it's that he ran a terrible campaign.
well,
So
I know
was
we had
like,
talked around then too.
I don't know, like people got really like pissy with me, and they said like, "Oh, how can you be so anti-Pierre?" I'm like, no, I'm pissed that he lost, and I thought he could have had a much better strategy. I think he would have been much better prime minister. What the hell? Like that's crazy. But yeah, I don't see anybody in other than Jamil Javani as somebody who could replace what Pierre's doing and come out as a winner in that contest. Jamil,
but there's not even a contest. That's the part.
No,
right?
there's no contest at this point. No.
So that's the thing. I don't know. Everything about it seems odd. And for the record, too, I'm not familiar with Jamil Javani and how he's polling or anything like that, even in his own riding right now. I haven't looked into that, but I like Jamil Javani quite a lot. I've met him in very professional settings. I've obviously sat down with him for an interview before as well. I'm a big fan of him and his team. I think he has a good group of people around him. But, ultimately, I think that, the media would destroy him with his JD Vance connections. But
or not. See, this is the thing. This is the thing I think should be adopted more in Canadian politics. And that's the unapologetic, unabashed pride in what it is that you believe in.
Yeah, totally.
Just totally own it. Own it. Go out, and here's the thing: more people will talk about you because of it, and then more people will learn about who you are. Stop relying on the mainstream media. This is where media is now, Jasmin. Like what we do is where media is. We started the conversation. They hate us so
much.
They hate us a lot. We started this whole conversation because Pete Hoekstra, the ambassador to the United States of America, most of his clips that get out there are interviews with you. Why? Because you'll sit down and have a real conversation. It's not poignant. It's not poignant. It's not pointed. It's not backed with some agenda. You're not trying to get the gotcha questions, that kind of thing. You're genuinely trying to get more information, and that's what people want. So that's what people will get.
What I love about that too is I didn't know that. I'm like, to be completely fair, I'm actually like, I'm not really on social media a lot. It looks like I am because I wake up in the morning and I schedule things to go out, but I'm away from my computer as much as humanly possible.
Yeah, post and ghost. Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
great way
like
to do things.
so I don't actually see a lot of that stuff, so that's really wonderful. But
You got to try this, and I don't know if you can do it where you live, but since I'm in Texas, I go to the pool after making a video. I'll just like get it out, and then I'll go to the pool. I walk down the street, and
Can I
swim
move in?
laps. Yeah, come on down.
that sounds awesome. I go
swim
to
laps.
in like my backyard and pick weeds. Like it's relaxing though.
Sure, that's
but
good.
I think one thing too that could possibly set, and I'm not saying this just about myself, but I always make sure whenever I have an interview coming up, I'll always post some on all platforms if I remember, or on like certain platforms. So you got to make sure you follow me on all of them. Where I'll always say like, I'm going to be talking to so-and-so, what do you want to know? And I will genuinely ask questions that people are sending me that I'm like, oh, I haven't thought about that before. Oh, that's really topical right now. Yeah, okay, good. I haven't heard an answer on this one, or I have heard an answer, but it wasn't quite, I felt like there was more to it that we could have got. And so I'll always do that. And I think that even that, it's like, it's one of the things that's been so missed is the media en masse used to represent people. Journalism used to represent, you know, the things that were happening that you wouldn't have known about otherwise, the inside scoop on things, and they just don't. Everybody just kind of repeats the same thing now. Like, it's really crazy to me that you have how many outlets that literally repeat the same thing, and they share the same news articles, which is fine, whatever, but I hate it. Like, so no wonder why people are gravitating towards something else.
What do you expect though when the media is the model, the funding model shifts from the public to the private sector?
Mm-hmm.
And this is the inevitability of it. And you know you're gonna get a bunch of this on social media too. Yeah, Wyatt Claypool has been pointing it out a lot about a particular
I love Wyatt,
YouTuber.
by the way.
I had him on the show today.
Did you?
Yeah, he's a buddy. He's a buddy.
I've
If you want to know
officially
about
decided I
polling,
like
you
him.
talk to that guy. He lives polls in his head all day
When
long.
I first met him, I thought he hated me. Turns out he doesn't, though.
He gives
So
that vibe. He gives that vibe.
nice.
You get past that, and then everything's good. But no, Wyatt's great. But he was pointing out like the slop that's out there in the social media space too with some other YouTubers, because there's a funding model that they have to fulfill. So
what are you talking about?
Yeah, somebody who went after me quite a bit too, threatened to sue me as well. So better not talk about that fat piece of anyway. Yeah, slop that goes out there and fills people with just like you walk away less informed than when you actually went into it. So I think I'm going to get into it a bit more with Wyatt instead of putting you in that awkward situation. Yeah, but that's another thing. So you got the mainstream media where their funding model is coming directly from the government. Do you think they're going to bite the hand that feeds them? No, because they'll be out of business in a week. And
they're all remote. Even the ones who aren't biting the hand that feeds them, they're still going out of business. So, yeah, I think too, you know, it's, I did a 2-part series yesterday and today about looking into now I'm forgetting everybody's names, but looking into the dark money on the left. So like the ones that the Democrat Party has used, and there's been a couple people who like formerly worked for Clinton who are behind starting some of these. The Clinton Foundation in Canada is one I'd really like to start digging into, because they moved their headquarters to Toronto, if I'm not mistaken, and there's some weird things happening over there. But I've been doing this episode talking about that, and one of the things that I broke down in today's show is so much of there's like these people behind the scenes that fund so much of this. The Trump administration recently has been talking about this. There's all sorts of investigations ongoing right now in terms of who's funding protests and that sort of thing. Arabella is the one, and then something Singham, the last name Singham is the other one. You know
where it originates, a lot of it is from taxpayer money. It gets funneled through these nonprofit organizations. Yeah. And then it goes back to activism, and taxpayers are paying for their own, like the revolution against their own people. It's crazy.
Well, and they fund all the think tanks and everything. And it's like, well, who, like the think tanks, that's who the media is always calling on as experts. And it's like, I don't want to listen to an expert who's funded by a think tank or who like has XYZ. I'm like, I want to listen to somebody who works in that industry.
Well,
You know, like,
isn't it really funny that USAID gets basically shut down, and then within a year, all those South American countries go from like bleeding socialists to like conservative governments all in a very short period of time?
So funny how that works.
Coincidence, right? It's just so crazy. I have to share this because this is really funny. It's pertinent to what's been happening lately, and this is so this is just make it stop, says Mark Reed on X, and it's Canadian taxpayers are not responsible for the world's gender issues. Canada just sent $35 million to Africa for gender equality projects. Now, this is ridiculous because, you know, it's poor
I don't
people.
like that actually to Africa. That's too vague. I need to know which countries in Africa. Is this more money going to the Taliban in Afghanistan where we closed our embassy in 2021?
Pretty much.
Like,
or, you know, the rule of thumb is it's poor people in rich countries giving money to rich people in poor countries. And that's how it ends up. Now, this is a funny one. USAID shut down a lot of these scams. And people in what country was it?
Was
people
it Kenya? I think it was Kenya.
Yes, I got the clip right here. This is so funny. So
He's
Kenya,
awesome.
they shut it down, and people were crying, literally crying because they weren't getting the money. And the former president of Kenya gets up and just gives them crap for it. This is so funny.
They crying, oh, I don't know, Trump has removed money. He said he's not giving us any more money. Watu wanalia. Why are you crying? It's not your government, it's not your country. He has no reason to give you anything. You don't pay taxes in America. He is appealing to his people. This is a wake-up call for you to say, okay, what are we going to do to help ourselves?
Absolutely. What are you going to do to help yourselves? Because that's exactly what you need to be doing. The world, wake up. World, wake up. These scams that used to bring this money to you, they're going to be done pretty soon. And we're going to get to the bottom of it. And we're going to work our asses off to make sure we do.
Where did I post this? I think I posted this like 2 weeks ago on X. 2 weeks-ish ago. And it was and it was Afghanistan in particular, because that was one that really didn't sit right with me. In terms of the funding we've given, you know, I think in the 1 year it was like 230,000 or $1 million. And it was so shocking because it's like they got taken over by the Taliban, and we literally took out our embassy, the UN networks and people like that, because they'll always say, oh, well, even though we don't know who it's going to a trusted organization, which is usually some sort of a human rights advocacy group, whatever. And so, you know, fair enough. But I started doing more digging into that, and I posted some screenshots from it not long ago where I had mentioned, like, this is where your foreign aid money is going, because the Taliban and also the UN people and stuff who are a part of all of this, they know that money is largely going to just fund the Taliban. And the Taliban will allow them to continue operating for women and girls equality. By the way, the Taliban ruled last summer that women were only allowed to see out of one eye now. So they're not cutting out women's eyes, but, well, in some cases, but they're
only allowed to have a burqa that has one. You gotta be kidding me.
But we're sending them money for women and girls equality. Alrighty. And so the Taliban essentially will allow certain operations by these human rights organizations to go on solely because they know that they're getting a cut of that money. And I'm like, I'm sorry. It's a no for me, dog. I can't support that. I just can't. No. I can't support it.
No.
I'm sorry. And also too, it's like,
it goes against our values. Everything.
Well, it doesn't, because according to Mark Carney, Muslim values are Canadian values. So
doesn't fly with me. Doesn't fly with me at all. No. And we have our own problems with them in Texas. And,
do
that's
you?
Right. Well, that's not me personally, but in Texas we have some issues with Muslims moving in and trying to assert themselves. Yeah, that's happening. And that one's getting squashed real quick. Governor Abbott has been really good about this. Michigan has even bigger problems, and they have not been able to squash that. So yeah, that's for a whole other discussion. We need to get to some of these chats so that I'm not keeping you up all night. So
yeah, sorry we talked so much. We haven't talked in a long time though. So
we haven't. So that's it. So let's get into some of these. Javelin Blue with a $2 says, "Hey there, cute stuff." I think he's talking to me, but
Clyde,
maybe
do you have
it's
a
about you.
girlfriend or a boyfriend? You didn't tell me. Jealous.
So when he's these are these jewel things. This is new on YouTube. Are you familiar with it?
No,
They've got
not at all.
jewels. It's kind of like you buy trinkets and then you can give them out. This is a laughing disco. Okay, thank you so much, Waniska, at the beginning of the stream for that. Bromsley for 5 says for Jasmin, and so you have to say for Jasmin, or if you say somebody's cute or good looking or whatever, I'm just gonna think you're talking about me.
I would too, so.
Do you think Pierre loves Canada more than Khalistan and the dairy cartels? Question.
Do I think do I think Pierre loves Canada more than Khalistan and the dairy cartel? So insinuating that he will bend the knee to Khalistan and or dairy cartels?
That's how it sounds.
Okay. I think yes, overall. However, I think there's a lot of political optics things, not with the Khalistan thing. I don't think that is an issue. I'd be shocked if it was. I feel like I would change my perspective on him very quickly if that was the case. But I think in terms of the dairy cartels, there's definitely there's a lot of like public pressure, I think, that needs to be put on lots of this stuff. You know, I think in Canada, a lot of things that the political class has done that's very different from other nations, other democracies, is that in Canada, frequently, we always get mad at our politicians for not doing something that we were never vocal about really wanting to begin with. And so I personally think the onus is on us. Like if you want there to be a direct impact made on various things, it is our democratic right as voters to build the public case by being loud and vocal about these things that we want, instead of expecting our political class to just kind of read our minds with it. So I think dairy wise, that's been big. As far as Khalistan goes, I'm actually not super familiar at the moment of the standings of that. I know they've had some really big issues in Eastern Ontario, if I'm not mistaken, but I'm not actually familiar with
British Columbia as well. Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay. I didn't even know it was in BC either. So I think I'm not as educated on that one, but yes, sure.
Yeah, we'll just leave that one there. Mr. Roscoe Pico, member for 45 months. Can you believe that's a long time? Says, is the Liberals the Democratic wing of China? I think the Liberals in Canada are the socialist wing of the Democrat Party in the United States, which is also a wing of the Chinese Party.
And Mark Carney just recently hired a former Clinton guy or gal.
Yeah, talk about bringing he's trying to bring American politics into Canada. Who's the one who went on the Daily Show first with John Daly? Who's bringing Clinton advisors to Canada? This is just unbelievable. Accuse the other side of what it is that you're doing. It's right out of the Solinsky handbook for radicals.
My favorite part was how Canada mysteriously had a No Kings protest that Liberals attended.
Like, Canada has a king.
We have a king, and also Trump's not our president if you're trying to do that. But we literally had like an in solidarity, and I'm like, okay, fascinating. You're right. It is totally conservatives that are obsessed with America. Alrighty.
You know what's really funny is that the population of Canada at the beginning, the very beginning of Canada as a country. So after 1776. There was a bunch of British loyalists in the United States, and they were basically, because they were against America, they were stripped of a lot of rights. They were stripped of the right to vote, own property, a bunch of things, right? And they were forced out for good reason. They didn't want there to be an insurrection or anything like that to upset this brand new country that they had established. And where did they go? Largely to Upper and Lower Canada, right? And they actually became the majority of the people in a very short period of time in Upper and Lower British Canada. And then when Canada was established, those are the people that established Canada. So this is a lot of the roots of where this animosity to Americans comes from. It comes from those people, the loyalists
passed
to the
down
crown.
Generationally. That's so fascinating. I'm mildly familiar with some bits of that, but not in full, as you just shared. So.
Yeah, but this is why the West does not share this culture of hating America. It's because the West was different. It was,
Mhm.
you know, ranchers and people from, I think from like Dutch people and stuff out in the West Coast. And they settled out there. And then they drew that line that Trump calls the imaginary line that they just drew one day. And yeah, that's how that all came about. Anyway, enough of the history lesson. Let's
I
get into some
appreciate
more of
it.
these
Thanks.
chats. Over on your channel, because you're restreaming this, the pleb jumped in and he said, for $10, he said, Jasmin, did you lose weight? Damn.
Okay, you know that video I made you watch before we started filming?
Yes.
I'll post it on my channel eventually. But I had actually sent it to the pleb like a couple days ago because I was like, holy crap, like I actually have lost weight and you can see it over time in my videos.
Mm.
Thanks, friend.
You look great. You look great, Jasmin.
Not as good
As
as
always.
you, buddy.
Just you know, the beard. I mean, if you could ever grow one.
I could. There's medication for that.
So-
Don't tell my parents though.
Then he says, Clyde, have you lost weight? Damn. No, I haven't lost weight at all. No, I haven't.
Did he actually send money? Can he refund that?
Well, he can't refund that. He sent it to you. He sent it on your channel. There's
Why?
there's a little.
I'm texting him right now.
Right?
Why did you send me money, you psycho?
Well, he sent another one for 10, said
Stop.
free money. There you go. And then another one for 10 said Jasmin for PM. And then another one saying, Jasmin, stop making me go broke and trying to get your attention. And then another one saying deport Carney to Europe. So yeah, he sent you.
I don't think that's deportation. He has citizenship.
Yeah, no, yeah, of course. Yeah, he was born in Canada. That's what people try to pull on me. They say like, oh, well, you know, you got to renounce your citizenship. It's like, dude, I was born in Canada. I have a birth certificate in Canada.
That's not how that
even
works.
Even if I renounced it, like, and one day I wanted to go back, I would just have it. Like I could just not renew my passport or something like that, which might happen. I don't know.
You might forget.
I might forget because I've already forgotten a lot of things. I have to remind myself about why I left Canada every day because it's what is it? PTSD. You just like your brain wants to get rid of that out of your memory banks. I got Gen X SI with 2 joules and it just 100. Okay, I'm not sure exactly how this works, but thank you so much.
I want to know what they do.
I think
440?
Yeah, 440 joules. That's Unk Alert. It gives you the Unk Alert because I'm an Unk, I guess. Doing the big, yeah. Or that's Lunk Alert I'm thinking of. Yeah, but thank you so much.
Apps.
From Pink Pirate BC. So yeah, I think it's mobile app, so people can buy the joules and then you donate the joules. And then
I mean, that's fun.
It is fun.
Okay.
On my Friday stream, because I could see the chat on the side. It actually like pops something up in the chat and everybody in the chat can see it. It's displayed right there. So we got some more from the pleb going over to your channel.
He didn't even spell my name right. Next.
Yeah. He says, Jasmin, do you think Mark Slapinski look like an emo vampire? Clyde? Yeah, he said a bunch of stuff about me because I moved to the US.
Did he?
Yeah. Whatever. He's the guy who wanted to round up anti-vaxxers and put them in camps, right? That's what. Yeah, that's about as far as I think about that guy. That's it. Once you've said something like that, you can't walk that back.
Yeah, you can't.
No, there's
Don't
no
get me wrong.
that
During the whole pandemic thing, I was still working in mainstream media at the time. And I did get vaccinated, but I thought it was stupid the entire time. And I got in trouble on mainstream media too for defending the truckers at one point. But like, so I'm like, I always thought that it was dumb, but I think I didn't quite understand the severity of it also at the same time. Like I was like, well, this is stupid and a waste of my time. And it's not obviously not going to work. And now I'm mad that like my pharmacy doesn't sell ivermectin like it once used to, which is annoying because ivermectin's great for treating psoriasis, but like, okay, whatever. So like I had a lot of things where I was like, is this just stupid and whatever, but it is what it is. That was kind of more my attitude. Whereas obviously nowadays I'd be much more outspoken. I certainly did not go that far though, to be like, we got to round up all these people. Like, it's just, Yikes.
Yeah, I don't know if he's just doing a performative thing to get clicks or if but like you come out and you say that, like whatever, you're not walking away from that. It's
No.
that's your brand now.
Internet
That's
lives forever, baby.
exactly. So Pleb reporter with another 10 saying,
What a psycho.
oh my God, my mom just screamed at me for using her credit card to send Jasmin super chats. This is my last one. I'm grounded now. Good night. Okay.
He's starting to sound like Mark Slapinski now, actually.
He's just going for that vibe. I don't know. All right. Myron Ends for $20. Thank you so much. Says blame Trump, blame Harper, retarded. No, sorry. Retreated. Retreaded. Yeah, it is retarded though. I'm dyslexic, so what? What? Oh, you're not supposed to use that word?
No, I just think it's hilarious how you say it. Like you said it. Maybe he did mean that. I don't know, but you said it. And then you were like, oh, wait, no, retreated. And then you're like, yeah, but it is. I don't know. This is funny.
Yeah, it is retarded. Yeah. All right. Rick Yem with 440 joules with the Uncle Alert. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And how do you say that? James? I'm just gonna stick with
Maybe
James.
it's Jamie Sulen.
Oh, that's probably what it is. Thank you so much for the $9.99. Says Jasmin, sorry, I didn't connect with you on app.
On which app? Oh, was it a scammer thing on WhatsApp? There's been so many of those lately.
Oh, I don't know.
I hope not. Well, and if it was, then in that case, it's a good thing you didn't connect with me on the app.
Oh, yeah. So this person got a scam. Okay.
Possibly, or it was something else. I don't know.
I've had a bunch of those go out in my community where on Discord, especially, people approach somebody. I will never approach you with any sort of ploy to buy something or spend any money. So if you get contacted by somebody in a direct message claiming to be me, asking for something, it's not me. I would never do that ever. Not going to do that.
I'm sorry. I have to tell you this story now, and with all due respect, but there was a gentleman who had messaged me a while back, and he sent me all the screenshots because he realized it was a scam. But somebody was messaging him, posing as me on WhatsApp. And you know what? The biggest dead giveaway, by the way, is when they use the emoji. So they'll comment under a picture, and it'll be like, "Text me for more. WhatsApp at," and they'll like put this number in that's not mine, and then they'll use black person thumbs up. And I'm like, why would I, one, use a thumbs up at all? B, use a black hand thumbs up? Like that, what their keyboard is programmed to that for a reason. And they're just not thinking about it. Like,
maybe it's one of those white girls meta jokes.
Yeah, it's so dumb. But somebody once they had messaged me about how there was a guy who was selling a guitar. And he's like, yeah, so I was interested at first in this guitar, and I was like, at the time, I'm like, I'm a 28-year-old woman. Like I could barely
only
play
single
recorder.
dudes want guitars.
Why would I be selling you a guitar? Okay.
Fair enough. That's strange. All right, let's move on. We got one from Trish Peru, a conservative. I'm a conservative boomer for 279 says, Jasmin, great video today. You make great points.
Why, thank you, darling.
Absolutely. Yeah, your videos are fantastic. We've got Myron Ends with another 20 says, our Air Force migrates in the fall to the U.S. and comes back in the spring. That's right. That's right. The geese, the Cobra chickens. That's about the extent of the Canadian Air Force. Good on you. Good on you, boys. Take down a Cessna someday, please.
Prove to us that you sorry, can. I was bored.
Oh, all good. All good. When he's
can you
for
be
5
more often, like.
yeah. Come on and be bored on my channel as well. When he's for 5 says, hey, Clyde, are car parts in Canada tariffed? I don't know the answer to that. I think there was some things that when I was still in Canada, I was working on some of the things. I think some of the suppliers were saying that there's some extra costs associated with the tariffs, but I don't know how much because a bunch of this is supposed to be covered through the USMCA. And
I actually called a Ford dealership a while back to question this because I was like, well, if there's things that are tariffed, then obviously you would expect cost to go up in some capacity, right? And so I had spoken with this one guy who worked for Ford, and he had mentioned to me, he said no, that it's not, but that may have changed now because there have been some changes. I don't know. Yeah.
well, there you go. There
It's
you
a mess.
go. Mechanics for 20. Thank you so much. Says, remember, folks, nothing is more important than the narrative, not your family, friends, health, your well-being. The narrative is everything. Trust the narrative. That's the news media for you.
Mhm.
All right. Yeah, just like during COVID when they would put, you got too many family members in your house over Christmas. We're sending the authorities to tackle you and get very close and wrestle with you on the ground for your safety so that nobody is too close to each other and spreading things. I don't know how to pronounce. Oh, I'll be frank for you for the $70 super chat. This is over on your channel, Jasmin. Thank you so much for that. It says, keep up the good work, Jasmin. Love watching your videos every day. Thanks for keeping us up to date with the real news. Awesome.
Well, thank you. My goodness.
Great job.
That's very kind. Thank you.
Got one here from, I'm not sure if I can pronounce this right, but St. McKeed. St. McKeed for $27.99 says, I own a bar. I had someone, what is that? So I'm dyslexic, and if there's a typo, it just
Do you
kills
want me to
me.
read it?
Yeah.
I own a bar, had some B word. I was selling American booze. I said I would never tell my customers what to buy. You can buy Canadian, your choice. He said, I am never coming back. I said, your choice as well. Bye.
Sayonara, pal. Like if you don't like the way we do business, don't come to our business. That's the best way to handle it. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go tell my friends that this person sells. Yeah, most of your friends, a douchebag like that, most of their friends aren't. They're
They
not.
suck.
They're not kind enough to tell him he's a douchebag. They just put up with it and they deal with it, and then it's a hassle when they go out with the person. But if he's like, never go to this place, it's a bad place, blah, 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 they're gonna go to your place.
That
They
makes
might
me want to
actually-
go even more.
Yeah, they might actually.
I have to experience it myself to know if you were telling the truth.
Right. Chris hits for 5 says, guys, I think it's almost too late to stop the damage elbows up has done to US-Canada relations. Carney wanted an economic war with the US. Shake my head. Yeah, and you know what? Canada's going to lose that war. And this is kind of like, is this even a real possibility, or is this an inevitability? If Canada falls economically, is that just going to lead to Canada becoming a territory of the United States inevitably anyway?
I keep saying to people, you want to talk, you keep saying our sovereignty, he threatened our sovereignty. No, your government threatened your sovereignty the second your dollar started declining. Want to know what your sovereignty is? Your economy. That's how you do everything. That's how a sovereign nation stays sovereign. If you can't back that up because you've made bad choices, like Donald Trump didn't do that.
No. And so this is why Canada has not been a sovereign nation since the Second World War, or even perhaps before that. It can't, even in its inception. If America didn't exist, Canada wouldn't be able to operate. What do you need for sovereignty? You need 2 things in particular. You need
Not
to be
a
able
king.
to. Well, you need to have. You need to have the ability to house and protect yourself, do all that, or keep yourself afloat. So you need an economy on your own. You need to be functioning, the ability to function without outside help and influence, and you need to be able to protect your borders. Canada can't do either of those things, so there is no sovereignty. So this
Whatever
illusion
happened
of
to
sovereignty is just out the window.
What happened to the fentanyl czar guy?
Quiet.
What's his name?
They just gave a
Kevin
guy
Purcell
all
or
they had to
something?
do is give a guy a $300,000 a year salary, and then and then that was supposed to appease Trump.
I gotta
He
get a
didn't
new
do
job.
anything. He didn't do anything.
No,
The
he's never
cartels,
even
the
held a
cartels
press
in the
conference,
Chinese
I
still
don't
run
think.
out of British Columbia, supplying all of Europe and Australasia with fentanyl. It's crazy. Like that stuff's still happening. Unreal. Okay, let's get through some of these. Sorry,
Don't
I'm
be sorry.
falling
I
behind.
think I've spent 99% of the time talking today. So
Okay. I just want to make sure I don't miss any. This one's from Scotty Waiter. I think that's how you say that. For 5, he says Jazz has focused on the people behind the curtains recently. I'm not just Jasmin. Jazz, you got that jazzy name. Woo, lingo. I'm catching on to it. Most Canadians are, you got to do the jazz hands too. Yeah. Most Canadians are dismissive of the conspiratorial complexities. Fight the Fabians. What does that mean? Fight the Fabians.
I'm going to Google it.
Oh, okay.
I've heard that before. British Socialist Organization.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of
Fabian
British
Society.
influence. Yeah, there's a lot of British influence here in North America. A lot less now in America. I love it. But Canada, yeah, Mark Carney. I mean, he's part of the whole group.
Yep. And so is his lovely little wife.
She's so lovely, hey? You know, you ever wonder, like, somehow there's like a thing that happens to the human body where like it encompasses the beauty of your soul?
Yeah.
Is that the nicest way to say that?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. John for 279 says, "What's up with Brookfield shorting the Canadian dollar?" Yeah, they want to make money. They're capitalists. They're capitalists that are headed by a person who believes in socialist ideology. It's nutty. It's a nutty world we live in. That's what's happening with that. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, Jasmin.
It is it's very predictable. That is what I will say.
Fair enough. Javelin Blue for 5 says, Clyde, run for governor of Texas. I'll move to Arizona and run for governor. We've got a great governor. Great. All my words are mixing now. Governor Greg Abbott, great governor. He's been doing a fantastic job. I don't know if I could do the job that he does. So I'm going to stick to YouTube commentary and I'm going to allow him to keep doing what he's doing because it's amazing. Raccoon City for 5 says, Clyde, how long have you had your lumberjack beard? Is this considered a lumberjack beard or is there a...
It's like a summer lumberjack beard.
It is. I need to trim it a bit more so it's a little more summery. But
you got to make it really, I wanted to get Icelandic. Yeah, I want it to be pointy.
Oh, do Icelandic do the pointy or are they the ones that do the braid?
I think they do that too, but like Nordic, Norwegian, you know.
I just have a pointy face.
We have like a good Icelandic community near where I live, and I swear so many of the men, they just have like the point. It looks terrifying. It's intimidating. I feel like you could stab me with it. I'm tired, so.
Okay, we're gonna keep going. Javelin Blue for 2. Can you get Trump to invade us? I'll try to convince him. I will. It'll only take 2 days. It wouldn't be too long. And yeah, I mean, Canada would bitch about it forever. Like, but they're gonna bitch about it regardless. So yeah, let's get it over with. Leaper for life with 10 jewels, a gold coin. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Got Javelin Blue again over on this one's over on your channel, Jasmin for 5 says it's not a
strip club pleb.
Oh,
because he was
throwing the money around. There you go. That's it. It was his mom's money though. He even confessed to that. Peter from Edmonton with the 200 jewels. Jabbin.
Oh.
Thank you so much
nickname.
for that. Jabbin. Javelin Blue for 5 says Colt Commander 357 FN 45 MP5 with an FRT Daniel Defense MK18 556 HKAR 10 in 308 that's what I'd be doing in Texas. I've got similar plans, not exactly.
What does that mean?
Colt Commander's that's a 1911, I believe. But in
like
357,
shooting.
yes, guns.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Have you done that at all yet there?
Yeah.
Is it cool?
I love shooting. Okay, come down. I'll take you shooting.
I've shot the civilian version of an American Sniper before. And quite well, by the way, I will add. Like, I'll brag on that one. It was a one-off. It was total luck, but I was very proud of where I got myself on the target.
Like a Barrett 50 caliber.
Like, it was big. It was it was like as tall as me, if not taller than me, on like a platform. It was insane.
I've shot the 50. I shot the 50 once in Waco because they have an indoor range where you can shoot it.
Okay.
But it's like one round. They're huge.
Oh,
big
it's
things.
insane.
But
it was cool. So
that's super cool. Your first time shooting a gun was a 50. That's hilarious.
I think I have a photo of it from a few. I'll send it to you because I'm pretty sure I have a photo of it, and it's crazy how big.
I went with Wyatt. I went with Wyatt to shoot the 50.
No, you didn't. Really?
I did. Yes.
That's so fun.
One of the best videos I did on my channel was at the it's the gun club in Waco, Texas. It's called Republic Gun Club. They were so fantastic with us. We went in. It was me and my buddy David Alot and Wyatt Claypool. We go in. We shot a bunch of guns in the regular range, and then we're like, we got to shoot the 50. And then they let us they let me do an interview with the lady that was running the place.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
That's super, super fun.
It was awesome. We just did a video about common misconceptions about gun laws in the United States that Canadians would have. And it was really cool.
That's very fun.
Awesome. Yeah. Come down, shoot some guns. We'll have fun.
I will. I need to get away from here at some point soonish. So
make it a permanent move. Scotty Wright for $2 says, how do we get the truth to Chikotumi or Chikotimi? Chikotimi?
Shikutimi.
I'm the worst at pronouncing stuff that's spelled weird like that. Chikotimi?
Where is this?
I don't know.
Is it in Quebec?
I have no idea. No idea.
Which country? It's in Quebec. Okay.
Oh.
I will research what's going on there, I guess.
Show your Quebec friends this little hack. Show them my channel and Jasmine's channel, and then show them how to go to the little the little cogwheel and then have it dubbed into French. So you don't have to sit there and read the thing. It'll actually use our own voices, use AI to convert our voices into French, and you can watch it in whatever language you want. And that's how you get people hooked in French Canada. Because I'm like, the cheeky side of me would say, I don't know, get rid of the French English laws. No, and then they'll be speaking English next week. No, but get them to watch it in French. That's how you get the word out to them. That's a great way to do things. Anyway, Van C Guy for 2 says, has Jasmin ever been to Point Roberts? Okay, this is an ongoing joke on the channel that there's
okay, that's actually really okay. Tell me the joke, and then I'll tell you what I thought when I saw that.
So Point Roberts is this part in British Columbia that's actually America.
And it's cut.
It's cut. It's
so weird.
But it's actually in Canada, but it's America. And so
the joke only is like 500 people who live there or something?
Yes, it's very small.
Really small.
It's really small. And the poor kids have to take a ferry over to the United States.
That's right. Yeah.
It was cool.
That's right. That's so interesting. Okay, wait, but why is this an ongoing joke thing?
So the ongoing joke is Canada can trade Point Roberts for other things, and so Canada could get Point Roberts, and then we'll get, I don't know, Alberta, kind of thing.
Not a bad idea.
Sweet trade.
I get.
So yeah,
that's so funny though, because literally I was just watching a video about the Canadian, the line, the Canadian border with American border and how it's been redrawn and all these things. And so it's funny because I'm not familiar with what you guys have been talking about on your channel here, but Is it like, oh, has Jasmine ever been to Point Roberts? And I'm like, what the heck? I was just learning about that. Like, that's so, no, but I actually really want to go there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a trip. It's a trip. I haven't
Do they
been
have
there.
like a border crossing there?
They
Like, I don't
do.
really. That's
You
fascinating.
cross the border in the town, and then you're in this little town that's like locked
Tiny.
by the sea.
That's so neat. That's so weird.
Yeah.
I have to go.
There's that imaginary line there, right? Again. So we got Canadian Spider-Man for $2, says Jasmine and Clyde. Thanks for daring to speak out. Absolutely. I have a compulsion. I'm one of those people, it feels like Liar Liar when, when Jim Carrey's freaking
Good
out, he's like,
movie.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he just comes out and says it. I feel like I have a similar compulsion. So
Mhm.
it's a gravitas to do that.
Gem.
I can never read some of these names that are all
Coralie Stedile.
Yes, thank you so much, Coralie, for the 200 joules. And it says Jammin. Jammin is just the thing. But it sounds like it sounds like someone with a speech impediment or a deaf person trying to say your name. Jammin. I'm sorry.
Clyde. That is not nice.
I'm sorry.
Clyde. I don't feel embarrassed about my pointy beard comment now. Did you ever watch Sue Thomas FBI?
No, I don't
Because
know.
that was like cream of the crop when it came to cable television. Clyde.
It always breaks
As
down every time I have you on it breaks down some way like this.
As Clyde said, he's just has a compulsion to say things.
Compulsion to say stuff. That happens, and now that I'm protected by the First Amendment, I love it.
Jealous.
Karen Law for $13.99 over on your channel says, anyone notice Carney, Ford, or anyone else aren't fighting for the auto sector in Canada? I think Carney doesn't want any cars made here, only China. That's an interesting take. I know Ford has been really upset about it, but I think he's kind of shut up about it a little lately.
I think a lot of people, well, Ford, this is the part that's really disappointing, is that they were about a week or so away from announcing a deal signed that would have impacted a lot of what was being hit by tariffs that affect the auto industry. And then Ford ran that ad that was really foolish that Mark Carney knew about, the U.S. ambassador knew about, and said, I wouldn't post that. I wouldn't publish that. And they decided to publish it anyway. And we haven't had a deal ever since because of that. But so I think a lot of people think that Ford isn't really trying as a result of that. I also don't think Ford pushed back enough during the EV situation with Mark Carney. Mark Carney, I genuinely, and of course, this is just my theory based on information, but I am at the point where I do not think Mark Carney wants there to be a deal at all. Yeah, no, I don't think that. I don't know that he's thinking so far as to cars only being made in China, but I know that it is politically survivable for him, if not beneficial. The worse it gets in Canada, the higher he polls right now.
Wow. Eesh. I got one person in the chat asking, Clyde, will you still keep twisting wrenches? I'm not looking for a wrenching job at the moment. No, I'm gonna be doing this for a while, and we'll see how. Yeah, I'll be showing off the beard. I'll only make it pointy over on OnlyFans.
Your profile name should be called Only Clydes.
There you go.
And the only people named Clyde are allowed to subscribe to you.
Moving on. Andrew with the 2 joules. It's a silver star. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Chris Hits for 5 says, guys, the U.S. has worked hard to prevent Chinese EVs from accessing the U.S. market. Trump will never allow Canada a backdoor those EVs into our market. No, he won't. And this is going to be something that I think people should watch out for. They might actually ban them from crossing the border, because it might be a security risk. So if you're buying a Chinese EV, think about this, because you may have to leave that at the border behind you if you want to enter the United States. That is actually the thing.
That is something that the Democrats and Republicans agree on right now. Mm-hmm. That doesn't happen often. When it does, you should pay attention.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because they're yeah, I mean, it's like Huawei when everybody was like, no, I don't want Huawei phones in our network. Yeah, same thing. It's another way to get the technology into the country, and never good. Never good. Next one, we got Scotty Wright for $2 says, Fabian Society bottom line, the New World Order. Yes, you're absolutely correct on that one. Now that we know, knowing's half the battle. Jimmy Jam James, I love that name for $2. Thank you so much. No message, but thank you for the tip. Really appreciate that one. We've got Javelin Blue for 5 says Colt Commander is a special edition Colt double action revolver. My bad. That is, I was wrong. I said 1911. You know what I was thinking of? I was thinking of the Colt 1911 Commander version, which is shorter overall length and has the original one actually had a loop on the bottom for a lanyard. That's what first popped into my head, not what you actually were talking about. The Colt Commander, yes, is a special edition Colt double action revolver. Still another really, really cool firearm. Javelin Blue with another 5 says, get rid of the NFA and you'll have fully auto M249 saw. Yeah, that would be fun. Actually, this is something, it was kind of breaking today. If I could just pop this out here, if I can get the thing. A bit of breaking news today. Share this tab instead. Cool news for everybody in the gun world. Didn't know, Jasmine, you were interested in this stuff, but this is pretty cool. So
I don't think I am, but I did grow up a redneck, so.
Okay. So in the GOA's case, a federal law court just struck down NFA registration for suppressors, short-barreled rifles, short-barreled shotguns, and what else do we got here? The GOA and our allies in Congress eliminated the tax. Now the National Firearms Act of 1934 is unconstitutional as applied. So what does this mean? So the what was it? The greatest what was the big bill? The big beautiful bill. So the big beautiful bill that Trump put forward and the Republicans got passed was this bill that basically took the NFA items, which are suppressors, short-barreled rifles, and short-barreled shotguns, and they took the tax stamp that was on it. It was a $200 tax stamp, and they rendered it to $0. Now, what does that mean? How is that significant? So the only way that the Democrats were able to get this NFA law passed, because it was unconstitutional based on the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms, they were able to get it passed because they said it's not a regulation, it's a tax. We're just taxing an item. So that's how they got it, and they fought all the way to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court sided with the Democrats and said, yes, it is only a tax, so we'll allow this. Now, back in those days, $200 was a lot of money. It's become more reasonable, but it's still $200. If you buy a short-barreled rifle with a suppressor, that's an extra $400 and this registration, and you have to pay for all the paperwork. Now that they've struck this down, the paperwork's gone too. So now it's like, yay, short-barreled rifles, short-barreled shotguns, and suppressors. So you're not blowing your eardrums out. It's a great thing.
Clyde,
yay.
I'm getting up very briefly because I need water.
Oh yeah, go grab your water.
So BRB.
BRB. So I'll explain some more of this. So this is a really landmark case. This is something that a lot of people have been fighting for. And we've got Brandon Herrera even commenting on this. So Brandon Herrera, if you know who he is, he's known as the AK guy. It's in his title. He's also running for Congress, and he won the nomination in the 23rd district of Texas against an incumbent guy who's, you know, a rhino, a Republican in name only, always voted on for gun control measures. Now we have Brandon Herrera in. He's a shoo-in. I mean, like, the 23rd district is not going to vote for a Democrat. He's going to get in. I'm really stoked on this one, but he's also a fellow YouTuber, does gun content all the time. But he says, major win for dismantling the NFA. Let's keep up the pressure. And this is a powerful next step. This is really, really cool. So it's going to be really good news. Go check out his channel. He'll, in the next couple of days, probably have a video talking about this. And just how awesome this news just broke today. Actually, just only hours before we started.
Yeah, I remember seeing something about it, but I didn't fully open it or grasp what it meant or anything like that.
You have to really be following like gun laws in the United States to know what that even meant. So yeah, glad to help out with the explanation there. We've got another one from Andrew. He says for $10, he says Clyde changed the piston rings, head gasket, and all the bolts and bobs, most parts from the U.S. Shout out to Rock Auto Parts First and little tax tariffs. You to our rocking my world. That's awesome. Yeah, if you're a longtime mechanic, I mean it's a big job. It's a big job for what he just did. That's a full like lower engine rebuild. Like he's gone through the whole thing. Anytime when I was like still working as a mechanic, if I got a job like that, I'm like, come on, yeah, why don't you? Yeah, I don't want to do full rebuilds.
Remember the good old days when we'd have phone calls while you'd be at work?
Yes. Yes.
This is a true story.
True story.
Every once in a while, something would happen and it'd be like, Clyde, I need to talk to you really quick, or vice versa. It's like, I'm at work right now, but yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. Earbuds. I'd have my earbuds. I stick them in and I'm like, just don't mind the noises.
Yeah.
All that stuff. Yeah. Who knows? I mean, I'm going to miss being in the trades. Like I really already miss it.
I think
have
you'll
all
have
my
like
tools
a good
at
break
home.
and then you'll see what you feel like, right?
Yes.
Are there any limitations for you working or no? Because you're a citizen, so like it would just be easy peasy.
What I'd like to do in the future, and like this is a pipe dream, maybe I can make it happen. I'd like the YouTube thing to take off, and we could build a studio, and I want to expand and get more into like interviews and podcasting, all that stuff. But kind of like Tim Pool has his like skate park. I wouldn't mind having like an auto garage like attached.
Oh, that's fun.
It would be cool to do politics while working on people's cars. Like just have like somebody that can bring it, like book things in, be like, Clyde, can you work on that and get that fixed? Sure. Have a hoist and stuff and just go in with like a GoPro and some equipment and just talk politics while I'm fixing cars. I think that would be a lot of fun. Not
like
for the
stuff like that.
Yeah, not and like maybe book people in that are like underprivileged, you know what I mean? And like get people to donate parts for somebody who just can't afford to get their car fixed or something like that, and just like, okay, I'll just make it happen. I'll do the labor and just get it done, kind of thing, while I'm doing other things. I think that would be fun.
I like that. I think that's a fun little niche. I've had this dream for the longest time where I just want to have like dinners with people recorded and like just do like a fun little, I had a dinner that I went to where it was with Kevin and Sam Sorbo. And I remember the whole time I'm sitting there and we're just chit-chatting about all sorts of random stuff. And I'm like, dinner with the Sorbos. That would be such a great YouTube.
you have to do that at the table. No, I'm kidding. You'd probably get so pissed. Like, okay, I get the meme. Everybody showed it to me. For everybody, Kevin Sorbo is Hercules on TV.
I don't think he gets tired of it though. I'll be honest.
No?
I thought he would, but it's funny too, because for me, I don't actually know him from that. I know him more so and his wife from what they've been doing in the political realm.
Okay.
And so because like that, like I was born in 96, so that was a little before my time that I remember.
I'm
really
old. Everybody, I'm old.
But I remember everybody Hercules, and I'm like, but he was so happy and smiley and like it didn't bother him at all. So I'm like, that's cool actually. Like some celebrities
that is really
get
cool.
awful when it comes to that. When it's like, what do you mean? I was also in Meet the Spartans. Oh, like, but he seemed to take that with great pride. He's a lovely gentleman, and so is his wife. Like fantastic people.
That's awesome. If I ever got the chance, introduce me to him because he
Noted.
sounds like a really cool person. That's great. TVT for 5 says, get ready for the first ever in Canada's history 51st state party will be in the 2028 election PCC party. This is how we get our monarchical system out of the monarchical system. Wow. Okay. What's the PCC? I'm not familiar with that one.
Yeah, I wasn't either. I was hoping you were gonna say it. Maybe it's a new party. PCC party.
I hope it's not the progressive conservatives of Canada.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Is it the progressive conservatives?
Yeah, that's what it said.
Oh, okay.
The
Okay.
PCC, Progressive Conservatives of Canada.
The
Or
51st state party. That would be great. In 2028, that's when Trump is going to have his fourth landslide victory, right?
what are your thoughts on that? Being down there right now, talking to people and stuff.
It's a joke. Like, it's
And
so
well,
funny that I'm going to make shirts. I want to make shirts that have it.
I've heard so much commentary back and forth of people who are like, oh, he's going to run again. And there's this guy that's something Wolfard, who is a university professor out of, I want to say Michigan. I could be wrong though. But he was on CBC News the other day, and he gives some good points and some terrible takes. And he was talking so much about how, well, you know, man, like, at least you guys still have elections. And I'm like, do we though? I don't know. Like, the last one was kind of weird. But he was talking about that, about how he's like, how he's fearful that they're not going to have elections going forward in America because of Trump. And I'm like, what? Like, that's crazy.
Elections will be a lot more secured when there's voter ID and people, you can scrutinize the vote.
Yeah, it's weird how the
all that kind of
Democrats
stuff.
don't really seem to be supporting such a basic concept. I wonder why.
But Mandami wants to have ID to get your groceries. That's crazy.
Mhm.
Oh, it's absolutely insane. But yeah, no, Trump. People say that Trump doesn't obey the law. He won't step down. They fixed an election. They rigged an election. He lost it because of the rigging. And what did he do? He walked away from the presidency for 4 years. He came back and he won it again.
Yeah.
That's what happened. So yeah, he's not going to run again. It's clearly in the Constitution that he has to step down. But we might end up with someone like Marco Rubio. That would be fantastic, or JD Vance, or who knows who's next in line. It's gonna be good, and I'm gonna be covering it the whole time. We've got one from Raccoon City for $100. Thank you so much. That's really awesome. I really appreciate that. We'll put that to real good use. Thank you. Says Clyde, where the founding fathers were they deist? Well, that's what people say. That's what people say. Now, deism is this idea that you're looking it up now.
Yes.
So deism is this idea that God came and he made everything and then just kind of went away, but God started everything. But then they give a lot of credulity, a lot of credence to God. In God we trust. All this other stuff. It's very it's pronounced in all of the documents. Thomas Paine in his leaflet, the Common Sense, he talks a lot about the Book of Judges and how they came to the decision to do the frameworks of the judicial system based on what they had learned from Jewish traditions and all of this stuff. So yeah, a lot of people like to throw it out and say that they were deists and closer to atheists. I don't really buy that. If you look at really a lot of their writings, it doesn't really fit. But I don't know. I don't know if they were like Christians of a particular sect or denomination that you might be thinking of. It might just be something that's different. They came about before a lot of the splits in religions, or in Christian religion. That I mean, it's been splitting more and more along the ways. A lot of traditional Americans are Protestants, and there's been a big thing with the Catholics and the Protestants historically, but not much anymore. So I just I go to a Baptist church on Sundays. But
do you?
Yeah,
that's cool.
It's great. I like the the Austin Baptist Church. But I want to check out some other ones because I want to see I really want to go to Southern Black Baptist Church. I really want to. I love the gospel music at Black churches. It's the best. It's the best ever.
I totally agree. It's phenomenal. And honestly, there's even like a lot of like preachers and stuff they just have the best churches. Yeah, I totally agree with that. You know what I recently learned? There's a couple NHL players that go to my church.
Cool.
Yeah, I had no idea until one day I was running late and I saw them running late, which apparently they do on purpose so that they don't get overrun by fans and people wanting autographs and things like that. So they
Yeah.
show up after everybody's already seated, and then they take a seat in the back, kind of a thing.
Yeah, so you
And I
can
was
get
like,
out of there before everybody gets out and
I'm like, that's
swarms them.
fascinating. Smart.
That is smart. Fair. Good for them. Joe Mama, I love the name, for 5
awesome.
says, do you think the libtards will I love that it's written. Do you think the libtards will wake up to the fraud that is Carney? Is he starting to fall off a cliff? So how much longer do you think it'll take? Well, how good is the propaganda? I mean, probably better, I'd say, than even in North Korea. I think even the North Koreans don't believe the BS as much as a lot of Canadians believe the BS that comes out of the Pyongyang style propaganda apparatus that is the CBC. So yeah, it's really up to the wherewithal and how much Canadians can stand before they figure it out. I don't know,
Yeah.
like that and poverty. I mean, wow. I mean, communism. They just crack down further and further. That's the historical measure that every communist society has done. The less your society buys it, the more they use draconian measures to crack down on you. So the more draconian measures they use, that might be the indication that people are waking up and not falling for the propaganda.
Did you see the Edmonton police thing about the reporting hate stuff?
Yes.
So one of the examples that they had shared in the since deleted original post, at the bottom, it was it kind of blurred in the background, but you could certainly still read it, where it said something about like, I don't know, like F off with your woke ass agenda. And I thought to myself,
that's illegal now in Canada?
Oof.
Jeez.
That's what you use as an example. Like, you're trying to vilify people who are calling out this globalist WEF dogma that's
Crazy.
happening in this country. Like, that's actually really crazy to me. So I have high hopes that people will wake up, because you have to. And I think also, you know, I have friends who fled Argentina. I have friends who have fled Venezuela, friends who have fled Iran. And all of them, it's like they hurt badly. And it took a lot and people still fought for the regime even afterwards, right? Like, it's kind of how that works, but it makes me have a lot of hope in just kind of the inspiration that I get from them and how much worse their situations were in terms of like literal executions and things like that, than what we have.
Just wait. I
Hey,
hate to be
stop
so
it.
dire with it. No, I hate to be like that, but like, holy crap, like the Soviet Union didn't just have, you know, it wasn't just like,
That's true.
you know, like it didn't start off with, hey, let's murder all those people. You know,
Yeah.
like
No, that's true.
it was, hey, how can we build a great society? That's how it started off. But this is a perfect document. This is one of those great things. But you know, it takes more than just a document like this, the Constitution of the United States of America. It takes a culture of people willing to fight and die for it. That's what it takes. And it's very important to keep the culture alive is the main thing. And that's what they've been doing in Canada. This is part of the postmodern society, the post-national society, all of this stuff. Get rid of your culture, get rid of markers of your old culture, and destroy that first, and then it'll be much easier to just take you over. Bro, sorry to make it so. All right.
So anyway,
Myron Ends for $10. Thank you so much. Good to see you both on the same show. You bring up great points. Don't stop talking. Well, when the two of us get together, we don't stop. We can't stop talking.
yeah, it's actually a problem. We should try to stop talking soon.
Yeah, I'm trying to get to the end of these chats. I want to be respectful to everybody who donated to both of us, and just so people know, these aren't all on my channel. A bunch of them are being for over on Jasmin's channel. So
I actually didn't even know that was a thing until today. So
yeah,
I wasn't
the great thing about
restreaming.
Yeah, super awesome bonus for you. So you got Javelin Blue. This is over on your channel for 5. Says that's why Trump wants Canada because of Point Roberts. Okay, that's why. It just wants Point Roberts. He doesn't even really want the rest of Canada. It just wants that little point of land. That's it. Chris hits for 2. Says Clyde, take Jasmin to visit a Buc-ee's. I had a hard time with that. Vista Buc-ee's, to visit a Buc-ee's. Have you not been to a Buc-ee's, Jasmin?
I feel like I've heard of it before, but no, I don't think so.
Okay, it's a gas station in Texas.
Okay.
There's a bunch of them. They're everywhere. If you're on the major highways, like Highway 35, have you been to Austin from Dallas?
Yes.
So you passed at least 3 of them. They're big
The
truck.
name sounds super familiar. I'm just
They're-
like,
If you've been to one, you know it. It's a gas station where you go to the pump, and there's 100 of them. There's 100 pumps,
oh, it's bigger in
and
Texas.
then and then you go inside, and they've got barbecue in there, and they got all this. It's just it's a gas station.
I've
but they've got
I've definitely
they've got-
never been inside of one, but
the toilets are huge, and they're the cleanest thing. They're the cleanest toilets in America. They're like marble inside, and they're cleaning them every 15 minutes, and they pay their staff amazing, and everybody loves Buc-ee's. It's the greatest thing ever.
I need a new job.
Well, they're paying you can get a job at Buc-ee's with no experience necessary for $20 an hour. That's amazing. US. That's starting wage at Buc-ee's.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Listen, okay, if YouTube ever fails me,
Buc-ee's
I know where I'm
is.
going. Clyde's adopting me so I can get my citizenship, and I'm working at a Buc-ee's, baby.
There you go. All right. Okay, next one. We've got Chris Chivitz. Chris Chivs, I think it is.
Chris Chives?
Chris Chives over on your channel for $6.99. Thank you so much. Says, instead of Greenland, how about Trump drops the tariffs and the Yukon, Northwest Territories, and none of it become U.S. territories? Please come save us up here. Thanks, guys. Yeah, we'd love to come save you.
You know what makes me kind of sad? I shared this with the U.S. ambassador. I'm not saying this at all in disparagement of comments like this at all. I'm just saying it's something I've noticed. I've been observing is when I had my first interview with the ambassador, I had asked my audience, hey, if I was talking to him, what would you want to know? And the questions were all very much political based, Canada-U.S. relationships. By the time I did like my 4th interview with the ambassador, the questions I would argue were 70% or so. How is Trump going to save us? Please help us. How do we get out of this? Is Trump going to offer visas for Canadians? How can Canadians move? And I'm like, whoa, that is really jarring, like in such a short period of time, relatively, how much people have just like really lost hope. And that is really like, and again,
sad.
Government, like that is the responsibility of your government. Like, it's just, it makes me hungrier and more driven to do what I do, because it doesn't have to be like this, like at all. It's so heartbreaking.
And if you're over on Jasmine's channel and you're one of the people that ask these questions, I will be following up with a lot of the answers to that, because I'm going to be working on how Canadians can get out of out of Canada into the United States. So I'm going to be working on a lot of these problems. I have an organization that I've been working with. It's called The Bridge.
I've heard of. I actually have them saved on my browser, because I had heard of them before, and I was like, "What is this?" I saw some people posting about them before. I haven't looked into it, but
great. They've been a real help for me, because like I'm an American citizen, but my wife's not, and my kids were born in Canada, so they've helped out a ton for me. It make things a lot easier. But I'm also going to be working with them and local and state and federal politicians to try to make easier ways for Canadians, naturally born Canadians up to a certain point, not this massive immigration flow, but like people who are born in Canada up to a certain point, if especially tradesmen, because America needs more tradespeople. America needs more professionals. Open up doors so it makes it more welcoming and easier for people to get in, to fill positions for training the next generation in America. If Canada wants to throw these people away, call them hicks and call them idiots and degrade them every single day and try to take all their tax dollars away from them, or take all their money away in taxes, we'd love to have you and come become patriots down here. And I'm going to work my ass off to make sure that happens. So make sure you're following the channel, and I'll keep you posted on all that endeavor.
I may not be a tradesperson, though I do know how to wire many things. But I could work at Buc-ee's. I don't think I'm totally useless. So just saying, Clyde.
Just throwing that one out there. Mr. Spock. Wow. Okay. Mr. Spock is back. He's for $5. He says, love hearing you guys just having fun. Well, we're trying.
That's
gotta
nice.
Make good of a bad situation. I mean, I'm in a good situation, but I mean, Jasmin, come on, you gotta get your Bucky's is waiting. Javelin Blue for 5 says, Clyde, if you do OnlyFans, at least you have Pleb's mom's credit card. Sorry, Pleb.
Hold on, I'm taking a picture of that for him. That's awesome.
Too funny. Too funny.
That's fantastic.
We got Fickle Knot. I think that's how you say that for $6.99 over on your channel. Over on your channel. I'm blurring my words now. For $6.99 says, help me out, guys. Doesn't Carney have top secret clearance and knows the threats
security
to Canada?
clearance.
Right. That's why he's playing stupid. Serious question. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, he knows this is the problem with the intelligence in Canada. So CSIS gives warnings to the prime ministers and doesn't have any other mechanism to talk any other branch of government. It's pervy to, I think it's the Privy Council and the prime minister themselves, and that's it. And everybody else is not allowed to know about it or discuss it or any of this stuff. So whatever CSIS has knowledge of, we don't know. And if Carney has it, he can just keep it quiet.
Mhm.
Trudeau did the same thing. Other prime ministers have done the same thing.
I'd also add to that they're so severely underfunded, which is a major problem as well. I mean, how many incidents have there been where it's been things caught in Canada by the FBI or by French authorities and things like that? And that's not to say that things can't slip through the cracks, but I feel as though there's been a little too many, which is of great concern. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that all needs to be reworked, and I don't think that the prime minister should be the only one privy to this information. I think that's just, it's a conflict of interest. It's really bad. Yeah, no, it's not good. Where are we? Javelin Blue, this is over on your channel for 20, says, until full appeal of the NFA getting rid of the ban on destructive devices, grenade launchers, high explosive rounds, proxy rounds, RPG, claymores, grenades, C4, Sentex, I think you meant det cord, machine guns. It's not enough for me. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I'm a freedom guy too. I love it. I think it's fantastic. Anything to add to that, Jasmin?
No, I'm trying to remember what a claymore is.
A claymore is
Do you bury it?
No, you actually you prop it in the ground so it's facing outwards, and there's a pin that pulls the thing, so it's like a tripwire, and then it's got an explosive that sends a bunch of BBs out at you, and shrapnel and all that, and you get you can picture.
You have a bad time.
You got a bad time. You should have pizzaed when you French fried. And, yeah.
Oh, I love that episode. Stan Marsh the Darsh.
I don't know. Is this Relentless K Adam?
Adam?
I think that's it. Okay, for 2 says, I'd love to see you on the Unsub podcast with Brandon. I would take that opportunity anytime. Those guys are in San Antonio. They're like an hour away. So if they
is that those 2 guys that are from Canada? No.
No. The Unsub podcast is Brandon Herrera and the Fat Electrician and Donut Operator. I know these guys have awesome names, but yeah, they're gun guys. They're gun guys, and they have their podcasts, and it's fantastic. Okay. Yeah. Super cool. All out of Texas, and it's out of they're in the San Antonio area. So if I ever got the invite, there's not a no answer to that.
Okay,
it's
noted.
when
we're gonna make it happen.
When and can I drive there in time? Can I get there? And yeah.
How far are you from San Antonio in Austin? Like an hour?
San Antonio. I have to drive through Austin and then San Antonio.
You got to go on David's podcast.
David who?
Nino Rodriguez.
Introduce me.
Yeah, because I think he's around San Antonio, if I'm not mistaken.
Cool,
and he loves talking about Canada stuff too. And so I think you two would hit it off. I'll shoot him a message.
Awesome. I'm definitely down. And yeah, I'll get in the wheels and I'll head on down.
That's fun.
Make a day of it. Yeah. I like that too. Cool. I love getting these connections. Fantastic. And then the next one is Javelin Blue for 5 over on your channel says, Clyde, louder with Crowder. He's Canadian, LOL. He doesn't like people calling him Canadian. He's American. He spent some time in Canada in his youth. I think that's how he says it. Yeah, Louder with Crowder's in the area. If I can ever get in touch with him, I'd love to go on the show and confirm. Yeah. And I would love to confirm all the things that he's been saying about Canada and include some of the idiocy that he's probably even unaware of, because it's just gone so crazy. So yeah, if ever given that opportunity, I would never say no. That's my mission. To teach people about the dangers of what happens when socialism is adopted in your country. We've got Gauntlet
KI.
Cool. Okay. Thank you for helping me there. With $2 says Trump 28. Do it to have SCOTUS close the loophole. Is there a loophole? I don't know if there's a loophole about running for president.
No, I'm not familiar.
What is there like a loophole where if you don't do back-to-back consecutive? I'm gonna have to look into that, because there's not many presidents that have done one term and then lost and then did another term. So this is new territory. I don't know. Does that mean that Trump can run? Okay, I'll look into it. I'll look into that. TVT 07 for 2 says it's the party of the Canadian Constitutionalists. Oh, okay. Canadian Constitutional.
PCC was?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's the PCC. Party of Canadian Constitutionalists. Adopt a better constitution. Get a better constitution, Canada.
Yeah, ours was written by Trudeau Sr., wasn't it?
Yeah, trash.
It has some okay things in it, but it wasn't clear enough.
No. And
this is an actual party.
Cool.
From Edmonton? Oh, okay. This makes the earlier comment make way more sense, actually. Okay. Because they're very much anti-monarchy, pro-51st state. That's the thing. I'm not pro-51st state. I'm pro-Canada stopping. Like, I want us to stop being idiots and get our shit together. That's what I want.
I want Canada to do that as well. And then in lieu of that, just making it a territory is it's just a quicker way to end it. Anyway, Javelin Blue for 2 says they were Protestant. Who was? Which people?
Oh, when we were talking about the people and
the founding fathers.
Yeah.
The founding fathers were Protestants. Sense. Okay. And they were also into the Masonic lodges and all that stuff. I a lot of the symbology on the bills and the buildings around Washington have a lot of that. Javelin Blue for 5 says they'll believe there's fraud when they're out of their elbows dying. I can't read that. What?
It says they'll believe there's fraud when they out their elbows dying.
Thank you so much. I didn't get it. You find that one out. James,
it says it's a type of hydrocarbon. What? I must have said this wrong.
It's a misspell. I think that's a.
Sorry.
We've got sorry, because we'll go all night if we keep doing this. I'm trying to get through them. James, I think was where we landed on that one for 199. Says Trump 2028 Trump. Which one? 2 bright kids. Which one? 2 bright kids? I don't know. Which one of his 2 bright kids? That would be nice. Don Jr. That'd be cool. But
I don't think he'd do it.
I'm really more a fan of Marco Rubio.
I think they'd be better off to have like a Rubio or a Vance. Initially, it seemed like it was Vance. These days, you don't actually see much from him, unfortunately. So I'm not quite sure what the game plan is there.
You don't need to posture for the presidency though, like at midterm time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like it's very different than I think how a lot of us are kind of used to like the backstabbing grossness of politics in Canada.
Yes. We literally only a year and a half into Trump's second term, right? Mm-hmm. So that's where we're at. All right, next one is Freak 5837 with another $100. This one over on Jasmine's channel. Thank you so much. Amazing. It says keep up the great work, Jasmine. Good work. Holy cow.
Thank
People are
you.
absolutely recognizing it, and you
Oh, my
deserve it.
heart. That's so kind.
It is. Freelance feet. That's a really, really weird ad name, but for $2, thank you for using your voices to try to educate. Respect. Thank you, and thank you for the name, Freelance feet.
I
Okay,
think that's awesome.
I really appreciate it. We got Raccoon City for the other 5. Thank you so much. Clyde is having a big vocabulary get you anywhere. Is having a big vocabulary getting you
What is
anywhere.
that username
No,
in reference of?
it's not getting me anywhere.
What's that game called? And there's a new movie coming out soonish. Oh,
The game?
it's on the tip
Street
of my
Fighter?
tongue of the rack on Raccoon City.
Oh,
Resident Evil.
You got it before I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one.
I knew that. I'm like, I've seen this. What is this?
You know what the name for that game in Japan is?
No.
Biohazard.
What?
Yeah, they tested it in the North American market, and people were like, "Huh? What is that?" And then Resident Evil worked way better, so they went with that.
Really?
But yeah, they say it with like the
Interesting.
Japanese accent. Biohazard.
Okay.
Great.
You are diverse. I get it.
I'm diverse. Yeah. I for those that are tuning in and don't get it, I speak Japanese. My wife's Japanese. We used to live in Japan. Another one from Jan Am for $6.99. This is over on your channel. August is 5th anniversary of what is this? Understandable Trudeau plus Butts arson of 100 Catholic churches across Canada. Thoughts, observations? It's disgusting what happened. It's their lies. It's their manipulation of the media that pushed for this to occur. And I'm not saying that they're the ones that lit the flames, but they're the ones who definitely set the fire that led to lighting the flames.
What I think is, this is old information, so I'm sure there's newer updates now. But I recall talking about this probably about 6 to 7 months ago. And at that point in time, there were, because obviously a lot of the churches that were burned are more rurally located. And so there were very few that had any sort of footage or, things where they were able to track down how it started. And at that point in time, there was a few number that were arson confirmed. And then there were a few other that was like, maybe, but like we can't confirm it. And so whether or not these are in fact arson cases, either way, I think my greatest disappointment, though, in terms of the government has been the lack of talking about it at all. Like, even if it was just something random, somebody was there doing stuff and they threw a cigarette butt out and, it's an old church building and it lit up in flames. At the very least, I would expect for the government to be talking about that. That's significant, right? No matter what. And so that's really upsetting to me that it's just silenced and if anything mocked. And I think that tells us a lot and it's really too bad.
It is very telling. If it happened to any other community other than Christians, it would be headline news.
Yep.
Even 1 or 2 incidences, but hundreds of them. This is there's something wrong here. Jasmin Blue again on your channel for 5 says, sorry, they'll believe there's fraud when the liberals put their elbows down. Yeah, that's it. We got another one from Jen XSI for $2.79. No message, but thank you so much for that. And Canadian Rebel 1972 for 2 says, they said when they put their elbows down. Okay, did I read that wrong, or is that just said that way?
I think that was from earlier.
No, it's one of the recent ones. But yeah.
I thought that was from something we had mentioned earlier.
Oh, something we'd mentioned earlier. Okay, they said when they put their elbows down. Now, James, I think that's Jamie. Says for
Solon.
Yeah,
James Solon.
Says Jasmin
contacted me to meet her on a paid site. Nope, I did not.
That's not you.
Nope, I did not. You should probably report that.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to talk to you here. Thank you.
Fair enough. Robert for 279 says, does Canada need their own version of Reform UK? Yes, please. Absolutely. Yep. And yeah, I guess it could be the Conservatives. The Conservatives could grow a bit of balls, like, to be honest. Like, stop trying to appeal to liberals. Like, just be
They'll never
conservative.
like you. They're not voting for you anyway. If anything, you have a far better shot of potentially winning over some of the PPCers, even though that's unlikely. But I think it would be far more likely, depending on your messaging, to sway them than it would be to sway liberals. And if you sway liberals, you're giving up on your core values and your distinction. And that's an awful election strategy.
And the other bad strategy is trying to convince Quebecers to vote for you. They tend to vote either liberal or they vote separatist. So don't even go for them.
I think you just need to be unapologetically you and mean it.
Yeah, well, this is what I'm saying. If Conservatives were to just be conservative, I think they would win over parts of rural Quebec, in spite of not going for the Quebecers. I think that might actually happen. So yeah, like you said, just be you and be conservative. Jan XSI for 699 says, I think that Lyndon Johnson was president in 2 separate terms, not consecutive, and I think presidents stay in power during war times. So I'm going to challenge that one, because there's been elections during war times. Even in the Civil War, there were elections. They don't suspend the democratic institutions in the United States during conflict. So that's something, but it might have been something with Lyndon Johnson. I only know this because Tulsi Gabbard was talking about this when they were trying to suspend democracy in Ukraine, and Tulsi Gabbard's like, no. We had elections during the Civil War when the country was torn apart. We're not gonna suspend civil liberties over there. And then Jamie with another 199 says, disgusted. You think I'm a joke? No, I don't think you're a joke.
No, I don't think you're a joke.
No. I
think I was just saying that I didn't contact you to reach out to me on a paid site because I'd never ask you to do that.
No, of course not. No, That's probably a scammer. And feel bad for anyone who gets scammed out there. But that's it. We finished the chat. All right, Jasmin, thank you so much.
This is my first time staying till the end of one. I'm quite proud.
Holy cow. I tried to get through it. I had you too long now. I didn't mean to keep you so long. Thank you so much. And thank you to everybody out there that joined in for the live stream tonight. And I just don't want to keep you for too much longer, but thank you so much.
I want to say something.
Yes, say something.
To everybody who is watching on my platforms and stuff, if you are not familiar with Clyde, I highly recommend you go and give his channel a follow. He is a patriot, a dual Canadian-American citizen, lived in Canada for the vast majority of his life, and has since relocated to America. But I think that he is somebody who will have a lot of really excellent on-the-ground insights as it pertains to politics and what's happening by actually being on the other side of the border, and also still caring and having a lot of love for his Canadian friends and family. So I just totally recommend reaching out to him. And even though he and I don't always see eye to eye on things, I'd argue we do on the vast majority, but he's a good heart, and I think he's well worth the watch every time.
Very kind words. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And of course, everybody who's on my side of this live stream and watching this, go check out Jasmin Laine. You won't be disappointed. It's entertaining. It's great. Every day is something new. And well, you get some of the best interviews in the business. And the reason why I said this earlier, the reason why people go and do interviews with Jasmin is because she actually lets them talk. It's not about a narrative. It's about answering questions. She comes forward with genuine questions that she's come up on her own with, and then also consults the audience, people who are actually curious about these things, not talking points that come down from some corporate office. You're going to get real results. So this is great. Go check her out. And like I said, daily shows, you won't be disappointed.
Thanks, buddy.
Absolutely. We'll see you guys all in the next one. Good night, everybody.